Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. How are we already this close to September almost being done? I can't stand this. I'm your host, Janet Choa. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 806, powered by NCXT. I'm too scared to press any button on this Go XLR now. I'm only touching the sliders. And speaking about sliders, we got the aficionado, the co-captain of the ship. He'll judge your sliders for you. He just needs a little taste. Jeff Grubb.
White Castle is an A-OK slider, I have declared, and there's no going back on that. Jan, how excited were you when you were going through the footage of the 360 cam and you for sure 100% got Mike yelling Super Bell Hill? Was that just such a relief?
It was the biggest relief. I didn't care about anything else.
Yeah.
There's actually some very fun footage of a Kirby waddling that I can't wait.
Wait, did you have that with the? Because I know you had that with the DSLR at least for a bit.
I had both.
Oh, that is magic! Oh, I'm so excited.
The Nintendo video is coming very soon. Speaking about Super Bell Hill, we have the man himself, the aficionado, the mayor of Super Bell Hill, Mike Minotti.
I'm getting a colonoscopy on Thursday.
Yay!
Mike, when I intro you on the podcast, that isn't an excuse for a miscellaneous statement.
Yeah.
It's like, hi, I'm here. It's me, Mike Minotti. What if this was the first Bombcast someone listened to, and their introduction to you is, I'm getting a colonoscopy?
To be clear, on my first Bombcast, I accidentally showed everybody my wallet condom. So, I don't know what you want from me.
You know what? That checks out. That checks out. Yeah,
that's
you know what?
All right.
The kids are all right, and so is Mike Minotti.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
And returning, triumphant return. I'm so glad he's not super red. Somehow he has maintained the same shade despite being kissed violently by the sun.
Mickey? Oh, son.
Hey, I haven't heard the whole story yet. We have Jeff Bakalar.
It's good to be back, friends. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, cut the shit. How much did you hate Disney?
No, come on.
Listen.
All right.
Listen. Thank you for calling out the fact that I was able to preserve my pastiness while being exposed way too close to the equator for my kind. I did. I was in Aruba for a week, and then I did Disney World for a week. No, we're not doing Beach Boys jokes, Minotti. We're just not, because there's plenty of jokes to go around.
Barbara Ann is a great song.
Actually, once saw somebody from the Beach Boys at Epcot. It was that guy Davy Jones. I saw Davy Jones at Epcot once. There we go. 1 degree of separation to Epcot.
I saw the Beach Boys at Yankee Stadium, and John Stamos was playing the drums.
Oh yeah,
right, John Stamos.
Let's go. Yeah, he's
Let's
friends with them.
go, Jesse, Uncle Jesse.
Yep. Not many people can say that, so I hang my hat on.
Not many people want to admit to that.
It's true.
You know who's a giant Disney parks nerd? John Stamos.
I don't believe you.
No,
I believe
he
that.
is. He has he's bought stuff at the parks in his backyard. He loves the parks. He's a freak for it.
All right, so there's a lot to unpack. That's right, folks.
Hey,
Gather
real
around,
quick.
you little freaks.
Before you get started, you know that Doobie Brothers song that goes, "Give me the beat, boys, if you my soul."
So
No.
wanna get lost in
I've seen the
rocket.
Doobie Brothers.
Yeah,
I
go
used to
on.
think they were saying, "Give me the Beach Boys," and I was very confused.
Give me the Beach Boys.
I mean, that's
It's
a
like a
better
demand.
line. Yeah, that's a better. It's a better
Yeah.
demand. Is that what you said?
I think that's what
demand the
Thanos
Beach
said when he came to Earth, right? Give me the Beach Boys and free my soul.
Oh, that's right. Davy Jones was a monkey, not a Beach Boy.
I want to get lost in that gabagool.
That's exactly. That was the original draft.
Listen.
Yo.
So I spent an entire week in Disney World, and I demanded, speaking of demands, that Mike Minotti come here and defend this place to me. No, not defend, but just like help me through it, okay? I've got a little bit of PTSD from the entire experience, and I just need to
Oh, it's a lot.
It's a lot, okay?
You need a debriefing.
I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest.
Should we preface by saying that, Mike, you gave Bakalar a pretty good rundown of what to do?
Yeah, I gave us some tips. Were my tips helpful?
Your tips were helpful. I think so. So Stace and I were watching this. You probably know who it is. Do you know who the Ear Scouts guy is?
Ear Scouts. I'm not familiar with ears. I know All Ears. I know Mammoth Club. I know Disney Food Blog. I don't know about
like
Ear Scouts.
Incredibly adorable and likable dude. I think his name's Rob.
And you even hate him, right?
No, I liked him a lot. I was hoping to bump into him because we've been watching so much of his content.
Is he just
getting
there?
help with visiting these parks because, folks, before you go to Disney, you basically need like an entire plan of attack akin to some sort of like invasion process. Like it is so much. I've not been to Disney World since I was maybe 8 or 9 years old, right? So we're talking like over 30 years since I've been there. So it was interesting to have like certain memories triggered where I was like, oh my God, I kind of remember this little section of the park. Anyway, we did 4 parks in 4 days.
Oh.
Okay. Then on the 5th day, we went to the Magic Kingdom, back to the Magic Kingdom for the Halloween party.
Oh.
Okay. Which is like another wild experience. So there's a lot to unpack. And I think it's got to start with just like, as much as I took in Disney World and as hot as it was, because my goodness, friends, it was the surface of the goddamn sun down there. I lost weight on this trip. Okay. I was gone for 2 weeks. I lost like 6 pounds just from sweating. I ate like a piece of shit and I still inexplicably lost weight.
Bakalar, this is your time. Get on TikTok. Talk about this as the new fad diet or new like workout trend.
The Disney Sweat It Off diet.
The Disney Sweat It Off diet.
No, I'm not. I'm not trying to start. Look, I did like over 100,000 steps right in that week at Disney. It was it was just insane. The amount of like water and like cold towels and just you were basically like surviving the elements.
Towels.
Not to mention. You're in Florida, so you're just dealing with like Floridian weirdos and all these fucking assholes from around the country that come and focus in on Florida. Literally not a single person I could relate to. I couldn't relate to anybody within 100-mile radius.
I could relate to. They're all
nobody.
aliens.
I didn't know my wife anymore. I didn't know my son. Couldn't relate to anyone.
Nobody was on my level. Like these people are just not my people. I don't know where they come from. These people wake up at 6:30 in the fucking morning and open up their Mickey 64-ounce fucking jugs and pour Mountain Dew into them. And I'm just like watching like, wow, this seems like a problem. What's happening? The only person who can relate to these people is probably Dan Reichert. So the fact that Dan got out of where he came from alive is his own miracle. It's Disney real. It's Disney real.
Did you have a favorite ride?
Okay, so we'll talk rides in a second. What I want to say to you, Mike Minotti.
Yes, okay.
So we saw plenty of your kind there, right?
Yeah,
Like, what does this mean? Like plenty of like
trash.
Ask this man to be on the Bombcast.
Disney scum. You
plenty of like elder millennials who like were just there on their own.
Disney adults.
Sluts.
These
Disney adults who just like are wearing the same shirt. They're in groups of 2 to 6, and they've got like the same themed shirt that they had custom printed, and they're walking around Disney.
And I'm just one of those was. I didn't want to. I was forced to.
I just don't understand. Like let me take a step. I had fun. I empirically enjoyed my time there. Okay.
All right.
But
real quick.
Yeah.
I want someone to take this out of context and imagine that Bakalar's talking about Starfield.
We'll get there. We'll get to fucking Starfield.
He won't be as kind to Starfield. He won't worry about hurting anyone's feelings.
I went on Space Mountain, which is probably better than Starfield. But listen.
Oh,
okay. I can't understand how you get to your point, Mike. Like, it just now I get it. Like if you're like a frequent flyer and you're in the Disney Vacation Club and you're getting all these discounts and you know this park like the back of your hand, like I started to calculate and kind of like do the math of like, okay, well maybe if I like lived in the area and I was always here and I knew all the nooks and crannies of these parks and I can get to what I wanted to see and do real fast, like maybe that's how I turn into one of these freaks. But I don't get it. I don't get it. How did you become like this?
It's just a matter of frequent trips throughout my entire childhood. Like I don't remember my first trip to Disney World even, right? Like I was so young the first time. Then we basically just went every year. So like that was, that was always the special event as a kid was going to Disney
I think
World.
you're predisposed because like
Yeah.
you enjoy theming of all kinds. Like you like
Yes.
Margaritaville. You like going to place and feeling like they put effort into building an entertainment product for you. Like you
Yes.
appreciate that more
I love
than
those
most
E3
people.
booths that are like no, it's not just here's like a sign of our game. You're going to actually be in Hoth before you play Star Wars Battlefront.
The thing that Bakalar famously hates, that Sony E3 press conference. You and I both like that, but you especially like that. Like, because it was like all themed.
Well, so that's what's amazing, right? Like, the rides at Disney are not good. Like, there's only 6 rides that are really
you're
impressive.
talking about like in terms of being thrilled. You're talking about thrill rides. Yeah.
Oh, well, see, I'm also a coward. I don't like big thrills.
Well, that's fine because there's nothing.
The theming.
You're not missing much, right? Like, like the point of going to Disney is like, hey, I want to walk through a movie set for a week.
Yeah. You want to be in the theme.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Like,
yes.
I grew up. So here's where I'm coming from. I grew up going to Great Adventure like 5 times a season in New Jersey, right? Which is like 43 upside down roller coasters, right? Like that's my childhood theme park experience. When I going to Disney, it's just not that. And I appreciate that, right? Like I appreciate what Disney is because it's so, the attention to detail is fascinating. I loved how like every little quick service place is like its own name and like they have exclusive stuff.
They have
and
their
like
own
that's
stories.
Yeah, like that's neat. I think the canon that they've created there is very neat, and I appreciate that. And like there's like special, there's like a special, Nightmare Before Christmas thing you could get while you were there, and like I'm a sucker for that
some
stuff.
people get into like things like Star Trek or Star Wars just because they really fall deep into the lore. Like there's Disney theme parks lore, and you can get just as deep into that stuff.
And I
like,
think that stuff's kind of cool. However, I just can't get over the hump of like how much they really just bend you over at this place.
Yeah.
Like it is so pornographic. The fact that you have to basically, so you pay
gaping wallets everywhere.
you pay for, like, they're going to figure out, they're going to limit your steps one day. They will fucking figure a way out to be like, oh, you just made it. You were almost at the flight of passage, but you ran out of steps. You got to get out of the fucking park or deposit $100 to get more steps in.
Your shoes are
just
gonna
have the
like
Disney
lock
Corporation
up.
invite you to go. That was what I did. That was great.
It's delicious.
Just so, like, the fact that I'm paying... Go ahead.
Did you Flight of Passage though? That's
of course
cool
I did
ride.
Flight of Passage.
That's a great ride.
But I
That's
paid to get on Flight of Passage.
Well, yeah, it helps to pay to make sure you get on there faster. Yeah,
I'm in the fucking park. I'm already in the red for like what, $600 after paying to get into the park, and then they're like, then another $15 a person to get the Genie Pass, right? So that I can go on the ride once and not have to wait. Okay, then you get to the thing, and they're like, well, guess what, motherfucker. Okay, this ride, nah, there's no lightning lane for this ride. This ride is going to cost you a little bit more unless you want to wait 385 minutes to get on this ride.
Don't ever wait 385 minutes for a ride.
So you get on, so you pay, and then you pay, and it's a market, it's like a fluctuating price. Okay, these motherfuckers are not just like $10 flat fee. It's like whatever the day's like, whatever we're feeling, that's what we're going to charge.
It's like getting the lobster.
I kind of like that. Yeah,
it's the
like
market value for what this Avatar experience is going to cost
you. Well, this Avatar's worth it. Come on.
No, it's not. Okay, and that's the other thing I have to say. Fucking Avatar and Star Wars and all this shit. It's just not that interesting. Okay.
Come on. That Avatar world is amazing. There's floating islands, Bakalar. They made actual floating islands for you. The
movie design stuff of Avatar Land is fascinating. It's fantastic. All that stuff is great. I don't want to speak bad about any of that. It's really, really dope. The Navi River ride is garbage. Okay,
that's not a favorite among people.
Garbage.
There's not much to that ride. Yeah, that's not a fan favorite.
Garbage. Okay,
Flight of Passage is incredible.
Flight of Passage is incredible. It's just Soarin' with some like water spritzer, but like that's fun.
No, but you can feel it breathe under you. You felt your Ekron breathing under you. Come on, that's magic.
I felt a low voltage fan blowing air in my face. Is what I felt. Okay,
breathing.
It was, but that was cool. That was Flight of Passage was
Rob,
fantastic.
you want to just go to Disney World,
Yeah.
me and you? All right.
Yeah,
Here's
dude.
what's cool,
If
right?
you two went to Disney World without me, we're gonna have a problem.
No, actually, we need to somewhere in the middle. These two are too much. It's just you
What's
and me,
cool?
Jan.
What's cool about Flight of Passage is like, I fundamentally believe that you'll be able to do Flight of Passage stuff like in your house in 15 years. Like, I think we're gonna start to do that sort of stuff.
Maybe
If you could do that in your house, I would be a happy person for sure.
Oh, see, remember when we made 3D TV so you could watch 3D movies at home, and then nobody really cared.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that'll get better. I think
I
that'll
need to
get
get in the line, the really highly detailed themed line, and I need to be in
Yes.
Avatar Land. I need to get a green beer from the Avatar beer stand.
Really
The
did like
whole-
that stuff about the Star Wars stuff, and
Yes.
I get. Yes, liking Star Wars does not make me an interesting person. I've stopped
Yes.
feeling that
Makes
way
me
about a
an
half hour
interesting
ago after you started talking.
Yes.
But is there like themes that would click better for you? Okay, let's
Someone
say that
told
there
me-
was a theme park that was this
Don't say
amount of money
keyboard.
spent,
Don't
and it was
say
New
keyboard.
Jersey Devil themed.
No, that's
Okay, yes. So what works for you then? Is it just the idea of theming is not that wowing to you?
No, I think if someone built like the Fifth Element, I would be into that. Look, like I enjoyed going to Galaxy's Edge. Like I thought that was
Yeah.
dope.
Isn't
like
that- it's a cool
through
place.
Yeah, it's fucking cool as hell. It's you go through that whole marketplace. You go like that shit is awesome. I did the bar, which is like the cantina.
Yeah,
and
we
I
did
ate-
That was
that.
a lot of fun.
You get the numbing drink?
that's- Yeah, that was not the numbing one. I had like I ate like a Jello shot out of like a petri
yeah.
dish with the Pop Rocks. Like that was dope. The
Bantha
whole
eggs,
thing
yeah.
was awesome. I loved all that. That was super cool. I'm not here to say like
Oh,
it's
Back to
lame.
the
I just
Future.
think,
Was it like Back to the Future? Would that theme get you?
I think that's why a lot of people are like, oh, you would probably like
Universal.
Universal maybe a little
Universal
better.
fun. They don't have that Back to the
They
Future
don't
right
have
anymore.
Back
That's
to
where
the Future,
Simpsons
right, yeah.
is now.
Here's the thing though. I think like Disney just has a lot of work to do, right? Because I do think for kids who are like under 12, for like older than 5 and under 12, I don't think they're that impressed. Like genuinely, I'm not joking.
They're
like
just
when,
like, I get this shit in Roblox for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Was-
Like when I went to Disneyland when I was 8, right? I rode Space Mountain. I thought it was amazing, and I did all these things, and I was like, "Wow, this is wild." 30 years of just like entertainment goes by, and I'm looking at my kid. I'm looking at other kids in the play, and like they're just there's not as much magic. Straight up.
You could do like one of the newer kid-friendly rides, like the Ratatouille ride.
Yes, that was phenomenal.
How about
Phenomenal.
that
ride.
Mickey Mouse one? That one I was really
Yes,
impressed
Mickey
by.
and Minnie train.
Yeah, see,
the group that was
that still gets the
Dude,
gimmicks excited.
let me tell you, straight up, very, very impressive stuff. The Resistance, Rise of
Rise
the
of
Resistance,
Yeah, Rise of the
so-
Resistance is
phenomenal,
awesome.
phenomenal. Now they're not thrilling; they're just sort of like walking
Yeah,
you
it's a
through,
different
and that's
thing.
fine. It's great.
Yeah.
The fact that these carts are not on rails and they're just like RFID following a track, like unbelievable. I love all the trickery. I love all that stuff. I thought that was phenomenal. Like you can't get that
Well, what
experience
did Dib
anywhere else.
think? So Dib wasn't impressed by a lot of it.
No, I think like he, what his favorite thing was the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster. He's like,
Really?
yo,
So-
Hey, what's
that
wrong with your
ride.
kid?
What's that?
What's wrong
I
with
don't
your
go
kid?
on that ride. I've never been on that ride. I'm way too afraid of that.
Because it's an upside down roller coaster.
Okay,
Like,
so he's a
He's just
okay,
in
he's
the
a
Cedar
thrill
Point
junkie.
era.
look,
Yeah, you need to take him to Cedar Point.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy,
I haven't done that yet. I'm afraid.
unbelievable.
I liked
Is
it
it
when it
cool?
was Tower of Terror, but
No. In
there
Disney
is still
World,
Tower Terror.
in Disney World, they still have Tower of Terror. Instead, they built
Oh.
a Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster,
Yes.
where the Universe of
Oh.
Energy used to be.
So the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster is a steel coaster where the cars go 360 degrees while the roller coaster is
No,
going
that's
around.
fun.
It is one of the most impressive rides I've ever been on in my entire life.
I feel bad I haven't done it, but I'm kind of afraid of it.
Unbelievable. It's what song did I get? Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, you
'Cause
get
they play
different
different songs.
songs.
I don't know. Maybe I'll DM Stace. Maybe she
Okay, but what
remembers.
about
It was-
because I told you some restaurants to go to. Did you have a good time with the food? Because for me, that's a big part of what I like about it anymore is all the restaurants and stuff.
the food is deeply average. But like I don't
Wow.
expect anything else.
you
Like,
went to
come
you
on.
went to Yachtsman Steakhouse though, right? Come on.
No, I don't think we did the steakhouse.
Well, what
Where
did you do?
We just like we had reservations pretty much each night. Like we actually did one Mexican spot in Epcot that was really good.
Okay, that's
Um,
fun. The one
Hacienda
that's
something.
yeah, the one where
Yeah.
the boat ride goes by it, or the other one.
Mike, tell him about all the times you almost cried from the food at Disney.
No,
Oh,
not
yeah.
not in the one like the Aztec, the
Okay, yeah,
Mayan.
the one closer to the lake in the middle.
It was actually kind of like across the way from it.
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking
Unbelievable margarita there. Like it's real. That was really good. Again, like to be clear, I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Disney World. Okay,
Was it?
Glad you had fun.
but like
Was it the
there's just a
people
lot
around
that we
you?
have to. Yeah, the people make it bad because everyone is so fucking weird and
I'm
stupid.
with you. I get
Yeah,
it.
People
you
are the
went-
worst. Like it just makes me realize how much of a bubble I live in existence. Like
just
I
have
knew
to,
that
like, turn it
before.
off. Like I'm
Yeah.
from, like I've been in the Midwest and I've been in like I've spent a lot of time in places where you might find that certain kind of audience and I've built a bubble where it's just like I am actively ignoring you and you don't even appear to me.
It can
and
be
that's
a
what
lot.
Yes.
The worst is
like. Oh, go ahead.
the worst is like you have like the crying kid next to you and like the family that's not dealing with it well and they're
Oh,
being
that's-
really loud and it's just hard
I
to
would
like
have,
ignore
I
that.
would have loved for that. It was just, it's like that seems like a pleasure. I just, like there's just, Again, I'll go back to just the statement of I cannot relate to these people.
Well, you know what? Next time, bring me and I'll help you relate more. I'll
No.
take your good trip and make it a
We'll
fantastic.
all
I'll
get.
I'll get in your face and scream to you why you should like things.
It
That'll
was,
help.
It was really good. Going to Disney is like trying out for a cult, right? It's like trying out and seeing if it's for you.
But I think back, you're right, and that's why you want Mike, because you want like someone who's like excited that you're excited about the cult. That's what really made it work for me, is how happy Mike was whenever I was happy.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm glad. I see what you got, what you will see in this place.
The Halloween party Friday night was awesome. Like I love
Okay.
it. Obviously was not scary enough, but that's fine.
It's
come
Mickey's
on. I know.
Halloween party.
It's actually called Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. The parade is dope. I think Dib like fell in love with the concept of a headless horseman. Like that's a win.
Oh
in
yeah,
my book.
the headless horseman they have for that is awesome.
Like he was delighted for sure. Like the whole time he was, and look, he had like the fact that like there's barely any line waiting. This, the night and day difference between when I went and when he went, like that's awesome. I'm very happy for him. He got to do and see and taste and play with everything. He did everything. Fucking Space Mountain almost ruined the trip though.
What's wrong with Space
What?
Mountain?
So I love Space
It was
Mountain.
super racist.
No,
I mean,
Space Mountain. Space Mountain to me will always hold a place in my mind. The theater of my mind, because the first time I ever went to Disney World, I was like 3, and my parents took me on Space Mountain, and it was like a disaster. I cried. Like they tell me stories about it, and I can barely remember, but it was like a horrific experience. I came back 5 years later and rocked the place, right? Like loved every second of
Yeah.
it. Something about Space Mountain that's like very weird. It's like retro future. It hasn't been updated. It's like 50 fucking years old. It's like older than anyone who rides it. It's crazy. The building it's in is super bizarre. I love that. But this shit was broken down for half the time that we were there.
Oh yeah.
And like someone was telling me they're going to update it later this month and they're going to close it down for 6 months to refurbish
Yeah, I
it.
think that's right.
But we finally got to the Halloween party, because the day that we spent at Magic Kingdom, it was closed the entire day. Keep refreshing the thing. The phrase "Is Space Mountain open yet?" is permanently burned into my cranium because of how many times I heard my kids say it. When we finally got on at the Halloween party, they ride it completely in the dark. It's already a very dark ride, but they shut off all the lights so you don't see anything. That was great, and we also got to do Tron again. We rode Tron twice in the Halloween.
Man, that's
party.
really new. The fact you got to do that was so.
Dude,
like,
so that's the other thing, right? Like the reason we went during this week was the thinking, through the help of Mike and others, that this was the week where most of America goes back to school, right?
Yeah.
So I got lucky. My kid didn't start school till a little later, so he wouldn't be missing any school. We went and we're there. And do you remember what I wrote you, Mike? I was like, why is this place so fucking crowded?
it's always going to be crowded.
but then
just
we
a matter of
started-
how crowded.
And we started to like talk to people, and everyone's like, "This is empty." And I was like, you have a different definition of empty than I do.
Right.
And the more the trip went on,
It's like
the
Disney
more,
fruit. Disney empty is a different thing. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Disney real, right? Like the more we went on, we were like, oh, you know what? Like maybe this is great. Maybe we did do this right. Like I said, we barely waited really on stuff that we didn't have lightning lane or whatever. So we got to see everything. It was awesome. Yeah, I think like overall really good. My favorite parks probably Hollywood Studios and Epcot, I'll say.
Yeah,
I
you were
think
at the
Magic
Beach Club, right? Which is like one of my
the
favorite
Yacht Club,
hotels. You like
yeah.
the hotel,
Yeah.
Yacht Club? Yeah, do you like the
Yeah, that
hotel?
was the hotel was really nice.
You go to the pool. They have a
We
great
did the pool the first day we got there. The hotel, so like I don't. This is a weird complaint. It's
Okay,
not
let's
really a
hear.
complaint, but it's like we were so far away from the elevator. Like I timed
Yeah.
it. It was almost.
It's a very
it was,
wide
It
hotel.
was
It's a very wide
3-minute
hotel.
walk. Now wait,
Yeah.
wait, 3 minutes, guys. Okay,
That's,
can everyone
that's
look?
pretty
all right.
impressive. Yeah.
I'm not above. I can walk. I'm in decent shape. Like it's not a problem. Think about what 3 minutes from the elevator to your door is. That's
You get
When
the
you're tired
You get the
at the end of
panic
the
packs
day?
too. You know.
yeah. When you're tired and you're like 27,000 steps in, and you're like, "Cool, I'm back at my hotel now. I gotta fucking like."
Wow.
You don't just. That's not just going downstairs for a coffee. That's like my day has started. It's just it's a minor complaint. The hotel for the most part was really good. They give you these magic bands, or you have to buy you have to buy the right to pay for things. I'll say it
yeah.
again. You have to
They put a picture of
Microtransactions,
Mickey
baby.
on it.
the right to pay for everything.
Yeah, but-
which I thought was
But they're fun.
batshit crazy.
Well, I mean,
Um,
the alternatives, right, is everything's line is way, way, way longer, and then you're paying with time. So it's like,
Yeah.
usually I prefer when you could just pay with money instead of
It's
time.
the Candy Crush experience.
So
right? Like,
I
you're
can
just paying
punch
to not
down.
wait.
You know, I'm glad that you didn't.
There you
You know,
go.
you didn't
That's
get
right.
to be part of Pax Bakalar, but
Right.
this is our whole new mentality. We're all punching down now.
It's our punching down era back
Yeah.
where we decided at PAX. So,
Okay.
We're
I can get
we're going to be big pieces of shit.
Oh,
yeah, so
dude!
toxic.
I mean, this is the role I was born for. I think, yeah. So that I guess pretty much. I love Haunted Mansion. I think
Yeah,
I
the
love
classics.
that. Love that so much. I just want to live inside that attraction.
Yeah.
You
You
I
didn't
think
get to the Nomad Lounge, did you, in Animal Kingdom?
the fuck is that?
It's just a fancy bar that I like over there.
Well, you didn't tell me about it, so
I think. Oh, I don't believe that, but it's a little hard to get into.
I think Animal Kingdom is like also running out of like things to keep you there. We like went and we were done
Yeah,
by like 3:00.
A lot of people say Animal Kingdom's a half-day park. I'm a freak for it, but they're actually that dinosaur area. They're
Yeah,
going
the
to be
dinosaur
replacing
that
that
dinosaur
soon.
ride, as weird as it is, was like a lot of fun. Have you
Well, I'm
been on
glad you
that?
liked it because they're going to be replacing it with an Indiana Jones ride soon.
Oh,
All
I
right,
like
that's
dinosaurs.
cool. That's cool. I gotta say the Buzz Lightyear Spinorama ride, one of the worst rides I've ever been on in my entire life.
It's an
not
old
for
ride.
you.
It's actual
Spinorama.
garbage. No, there were like 8-year-olds like spitting all over this. It was the worst.
What are you talking?
Because they were like, "This
At
is
the
trash.
time,
This
it was
ride
amazing.
is so bad. It's a freaking little laser. It's like not
Tim
even
Allen's just like, this is why cancel culture's bad the whole
No,
time.
the
It's real
Toy
weird.
Story one where it's 3D with the little poppers. That was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That
That's a
was
lot
good.
newer.
This
Wasn't in
little
that one.
dinky fucking laser piece of shit. Replace it. But I think I think for my money, Guardians is really up there. Tron is a good ride, but also that Everest ride. Oh my
yeah.
god! In Animal Kingdom, it's
That's
like a
fun.
modular roller coaster. It like changes while you're on it. I thought that was brilliant.
So that was the upper limit of roller coasters I could ever do. I can't even do that one anymore, but I used to be able to do that. So that's like as big a coaster as I was ever able to go on.
It's amazing.
It's fun.
It's just a very inventive and like well executed, roller coasters where like it kind of tells a story where like you think like the track ends and then behind you things are moving, and then I just love that shit.
See,
That's what all Disney is. Disney is all like, look over here while I do this kind of shit. It's all misdirection, which is fun.
why, like,
that's great.
That's part of my Disney braining. Like I'll go on like a normal roller coaster I like place, and I'll be like, "What's the story here, though?"
When-
And then,
when
you
you-
know,
Exactly. Like when you get out of that Rise of Resistance teleporter and you enter that room with all the stormtroopers, like that is phenomenal. Oh my God. Is that so rad? Where you're just like, holy
Yeah,
shit.
I think we're losing Jeff and Jan over here. By the
what's
way,
happening? Are
That
you
being
guys,
said, Bakalar, would you go back?
that's a good question. I'd have to wait at least 5 years.
Okay.
Like it's just,
Would you make a trip back to Orlando and did you do the water park this time?
No, I don't.
Would you do
water
like
parks.
Universal, the water park, and then maybe one of the like your
what you
favorite
should
park at
do-
Disney again?
Wait a few years for Universal to open their third theme park, which they're making right now. That's going to have the Nintendo stuff, and then go visit
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
That's what
maybe
I was
maybe Universal. You know, having to go to Florida is a big ask. So
It's a big ask.
it's a super short flight, but like it's Florida. So
Florida. Yeah.
you know, it's not right. So, but yeah, you know,
It's not
again,
like
maybe.
Talladega. It's like Orlando's.
Oh, I
like,
want to go
mostly
to
gonna be tourists.
Talladega just to.
Oh
you
no,
know,
we cannot sugarcoat this, folks. It's bad.
Just want to shake and bake.
You know. But anyway, I don't know, Mike. I feel like we should have a.
That's good.
You do a
appreciate
Disney
it.
podcast, right?
You guys should do a
Yeah.
spoiler cast for Disney World.
There we go.
Beckler, I'm glad that you had a good time, but I'm really happy you came back with all these like grumpy opinions because I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's
Well,
not as grumpy as I feared. Not
it's
nearly
not
as grumpy
grumpy,
as I feared.
I'm just right. Like that's all it is. You know, like,
This is
Like,
perfect.
I'm
I would have
just-
this no other way.
But both
just
of you are
right.
right. Both of
you know,
are.
like I also think the whole fireworks situation in Magic Kingdom is fucked up. Like, do
Well.
not do that. Do not.
Oh,
That
that's
was
right.
the most Tim Robinson sentence I've heard. Oh, the fireworks situation is fucked up.
It is, dude. Like, it basically becomes Woodstock for like 90 minutes, and you're just like, oh wow, we can't move anymore. We're in this thing.
It's a
we're in
lot.
we're in a crowd of people, this sea of humanity, and God forbid something terrible happens, we're all fucked. You can't move. They even say, okay, everyone, the party starts in a half hour. Don't fucking move a muscle.
Yeah.
Like, that was
But you
upsetting.
get your spot. You gotta keep that spot.
Did not like that. And again, you know, having it be a real feel of 107 degrees for the majority of time I was there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's rough. Sometimes you get lucky with September weather. Like we were still having a pretty hot September for a while there. I was there. One time I was there like in July. That was a big mistake. I remember we were talking to Mary Poppins, and she was basically, "Can you believe this heat?" Like she was like miserable too.
But did she
Again,
say it in a
again-
fun, posh accent?
Oh right, Jan's Mary Poppins thing. Dang it. Yes,
That's
yes,
right.
She did.
I just again wanted to shout out Ear Scouts on YouTube. Such
Ear
a
Scouts.
helpful video series with the lightning pass. You gotta wake up at 7 a.m.
That's-
every fucking day to push
Yeah.
buttons on your goddamn phone. That app is trash too. It's like
When people ask me about like the lightning pass stuff, that stuff is so complicated that even I'm like, you should just Google that, like see what the people say, because it's every time I have to remind myself how it actually works. It's a lot.
I know I spent a lot of time on this. Can I do one more thing?
One
Please.
more thing.
One more thing.
So I told you Space Mountain's closed like all day, right?
Yeah.
We're there, and like halfway through the day, I get a pop up on my in the app from like the chief marketing, you know, some like copy paste bullshit, like half apology. Like, don't do that. Don't show me like this disingenuous statement from your fucking CMO who's like, we're really sorry Space Mountain's been closed all day. And then do nothing else. And it just says like dismiss. You're like, what?
Well,
What am I supposed to feel? Am I supposed to feel like, well, everything's all better now? No, just don't talk about it. It's
if
bad.
you really wanted to, if you went to the town hall or guest relations, wherever it was, and like complained about it a little bit, but nicely complained about it, you might have gotten something like a free extra lightning lane somewhere. I don't know. It's probably not worth the time though, because that
they do
also
give
has a
you-
line.
Exactly. They do give you another lightning lane that you can use on another
Oh, then
ride.
there you
That's
go, yeah.
fine. But like, it's stuff like that upsets me. Also, give everyone more water. Why is water so problematic in Disney World?
Water is problematic. You heard it here,
Just-
folks.
Just give like I brought my own thing. Let me fill it up everywhere. Why do I have to fucking like get someone to give me another cup that I have to throw away that creates more waste? Give me a fucking cold water fountain everywhere. Just do that. You'll save
Now,
on everything.
I
right?
have to ask something, but because this has been on my mind. Did you see any fun popcorn buckets?
Oh, dude, you're goddamn right. I did.
Okay.
I saw a Donald Duck one.
Oh shit.
No, that for
Um,
real?
It was like, oh, maybe that was like a candy corn dispenser. But the Nightmare Before Christmas one
Oh,
was really
shit.
sick.
Okay.
That was an exclusive for the Halloween party.
Boys, I'm going in
really?
2 weeks or 2-3
Where-
weeks.
To Florida?
You're going to
or-
Oogie
No,
Boogie Bash.
The
You're going
Oogie
to see
Boogie
Judge
Bash.
Doom.
I got to see
Yo.
Judge Doom and Kingdom
Dude.
Hearts Donald. Don't worry,
Wait,
Grub. I'll
Judge-
send you
Yeah.
pictures.
Jan, whatever exclusive, popcorn holders, hook it up. Okay.
You're in on this too now?
I guess so. That's
There
the
we
one
go.
thing.
Man, even I have not delved into the world of popcorn holders. I'm like, that's too much. That's tacky. I don't need that.
There's a lot of people who like just go to that thing for all that stuff. Like the merch stuff is a whole other podcast. But anyway.
Well, I'm going in November to Disney World, so.
Well, it seems like that whole event for you, Bakalar, was one big blur. Just like sometimes a Mirage can be, because
there should be a space between Disney and World, by the way. Sorry, that triggered me in the header.
Could have said that 40 minutes ago, Mike.
I just noticed it now, and I just had to say something. Look, it's important to me.
I was pretty normal with that. Grub, are you okay? I was normal, right?
I can't lie. That was too much Disney, guys. That was far too much Disney.
Okay.
It's all right. We'll have a Power Bombcast this week.
Grub's one of the. I hate when they talk about wrestling people now. Oh my god!
I didn't say.
I keep my mouth shut.
I got to do this podcast. Now I have to talk about video games. I don't have any energy left for this.
And that's it. We'll never do it again.
Assassin's Creed Mirage. Oh, that being said, someone out there, I know you're listening, Bob. I know you're listening. Send Grub and I to Disney World. We're a great time.
Yeah.
And we'll bring Mike with us.
Yeah. I guess.
Okay.
I guess if it was a free trip, I'd go back. But
I had to be a skipper apparently on the Jungle Cruise.
Oh, nice.
Or else I don't believe in myself.
Mike.
Stop You're gonna say I'm gonna be a skipper.
I'm gonna be a skipper.
Who told you you're going to be a
really?
skipper? Ben Starr said you were going to be a skipper.
Oh, that's right.
Come on, believe in yourself. Assassin's Creed Mirage is Assassin's Creed. It's very, very Assassin's Creed.
All right.
I'm kind of happy about that. It honestly reminds me of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and 2, and then it reminds me of I guess Unity a bit in terms of like some of a lot of extra little side stuff to do that is mostly pretty interesting. But me and Mike played this as a preview segment, and it's like they throw you into the world kind of a little bit later in the game, and you're supposed to go around investigating this problem in the marketplace, I guess. I was rushed for time, so I didn't get to the. There's an auction segment where you can mess around with that, Mike. Maybe you could fill in some of those details. But overall, I'm like, hey, this is just the Assassin's Creed where I'm holding one button and pushing forward to either like climb on stuff, or I'm holding the other button to climb down stuff. And that works really well. And then it's a very stealthy game again. And it like you even get you get the blade, the assassin's blade. And a lot of the kills are like, punch a guy a couple times, do a counter, and then assassin's blade him to put him down and move on. And you feel very deadly. And that's the Assassin's Creed stuff I like. And surprisingly, that's relatively rare, I guess, in Assassin's Creed games these days, where it's like, you're not always going to have that blade, or that's not going to be your main way of interacting with kills. And I like it when it is. So I'm pretty happy with this. And yet I'm not like clamoring to get my hands back on it either. I don't know. How do you feel, Mike?
I enjoyed it. I think even a bit more than you, because this is the style of Assassin's Creed that I did like. I really did like Assassin's Creed for a while. I even liked that first one back when everyone complained it was repetitive. I really liked the whole 2 trilogy, right? Yeah, I am happy to have a game that is basically just one city, like an open world city. Great, an open world all of England, too much. Don't need that. Actually, don't need all of Greece. Don't need all of Egypt. Just too much. But yeah, I like that this is a game that is about stealth again. Like, if I can jump on a person with a knife, I'm going to kill them. It doesn't matter what level they are. There are no levels. So thank God for that. No cooldown combat abilities. I'm really over that in the Assassin's Creed games. They even do reward you for doing this stealth. Like, you have a super meter that you fill up when you get stealth kills. And when that fills up, you can do like a chain stealth kill attack, which is good for small groups.
Right, kind of like a little bit like Deadeye, right? Where it's like a cool bang, 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 bang sort of thing.
Right. And I even like doing the Middle Eastern setting again. Like, I associate that so much with Assassin's Creed because of the first game. And then Constantinople was used for Assassin's Creed, the third one, the sequel to Brotherhood. What was that one called again?
It had a dumb name. Revelations?
It had the name. Revelations. There
2.
were no Revelations in it, which is why I get confused. Like, nothing important happened in that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Revelations was Constantinople, which is, the gateway to the Middle East, right? So yeah, I was enjoying it. I still had some things. I don't know why we still have to have this fucking bird mechanic. I like the bird.
Hey,
the bird
is
Ubisoft
gonna have
really
Yeah, go
likes
ahead.
drones. You know, they got to
Yes.
figure out a drone in every little
like-
thing.
There's nothing fun about like having to stop and play Where's Waldo with NPCs for a while. I just I don't like it.
Some people like to have that overview because it like makes them feel like they have more command of the situation. I think you like when they forced you to use it. I'm with you, Mike. If it's like an option, it's completely harmless. I did get to a point. You're right in the demo where you had to use it, but I think that was more like a tutorialization in this vertical slice. I'll say like I like the investigation segment where I am supposed to be like, okay, this person or this group of people knows something, and it's in like a fort, and you're gonna have to like find their written stuff in there. But they're not gonna tell you where it is. You actually have to go in there and look around, find it yourself, and either stealthily avoid combat or stealthily take everyone out, or actually just go in there and wreck house. And the option of how you do that's completely up to you. But I like that. I like any time a game is like, here's a small little space. You know, it's a fort. It's a small fort, and there's like 4 or 5 small little buildings. And go ahead and find a way to get in there and find the stuff in there on your own without us just putting a waypoint down. I appreciate that. It makes me feel more a part of the world.
I liked that part, but like the main target in the demo, it was like a really story focused thing, and that really was just, hey, do what the missions say. And then eventually the mission like got me to her, and then a cutscene played, and in the cutscene I killed her. And I was like, man, this should be more like a Hitman now, right? Where I have a target and they are somewhere and I know where they are, and like it's a matter of just finding out how to get to them. I think they can't do that because it is relatively easy to kill people and then get away in this game compared to a Hitman. But it's like that aspect I thought was a little disappointing. But in general, I was having a pretty good time.
Yeah,
If someone
go ahead.
missed like the last couple Assassin's Creeds, like Valhalla and everything, this
is the one for you.
okay.
Yeah,
You even said, like-
especially if you were like afraid of the big RPG, like 150-hour claims and stuff like that, and in the leveling. Like there are people who like those Assassin's Creeds. I sometimes like I really liked. I can't remember which one it was now. Not Origins, not Valhalla. What's the one in between there?
Odyssey.
Jesus.
Odyssey. I liked Odyssey. But it's like I'm not going to do all 3 of those games. I'm going to pick the one I like. But I could play another Assassin's Creed if it's something like this. But if all those other ones were kind of too big and too much for you, this is also the one. It is definitely, hey, they took DLC for one of the games, Valhalla, and expanded it into its own thing. And it does feel like its own thing, like complete Baghdad existing as a city. And then it's a full Assassin's Creed game, but it's not going to be this endless thing where it's just going to completely take up all your time.
Did they talk anything about like length of the game? Because I know that like Valhalla was like a big beefy boy.
Yeah, that was
Valhalla
like
is-
too much, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too much. This one, I know it's going to be shorter. I forget. And I know it also doesn't like really do much like modern day time stuff, which is kind of good at this point. Like they said, this is very standalone-y. Like this
Okay.
you don't have to worry about how this ties into like the overall lore about like Juno and eat apples of Eden.
I don't
or
even know
whatever.
who Juno
Yeah,
is.
what
now.
are you saying? What?
You know, like the Adam and Eve people. And you forgot about that shit?
Oh, right,
And
right.
Juno, the early email application.
Oh,
Jeff
okay.
Juno.com.
Nice.
Assassin's Creed Mirage is about 20 to 25 hours. That's what they've been saying publicly.
Okay.
And that sounds perfectly reasonable for an Assassin's Creed game. Even one that's coming out this holiday where it's really packed. It's like, okay, they moved it up a little bit early. That's great. I'm probably still not going to like try to finish this game or anything like that, but I'll play through what I can of it while I'm waiting for other stuff to drop. Spider-Man or Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Oh, boy.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I haven't touched an Assassin's Creed, I think, since Brotherhood, and it feels like
That's the best one.
Yeah, it feels like a stranger at this point, and that ties in perfectly because I've been playing something called Void Stranger. Okay, are you gents familiar with what a Sokoban is? It's like a
No.
moving boxes puzzle style game.
Okay, sure, yeah.
It's like top down, like you got to
Yes.
move a puzzle to get to an exit generally, or like
Like a Catherine?
except completely flat. Like 2D.
Okay, flat Catherine. Well, they were not flat in Catherine.
Wait,
I'll
like-
say that.
Is this like the pipe puzzles in BioShock kind of thing?
Kind of, sort of, not really. Like, you got to push like boxes around, and you can only move them so much. And like, if you push them against the wall, you're kind of screwed.
Is that like when you got like the 9 grid of numbers and you got to put them in order?
Yeah, sure, close.
Yeah, okay.
Close to that. So Void Stranger is one of those, and except instead of pushing boxes around, you have a magical staff where you can grab the tile in front of you and move it somewhere else. So sometimes you're just moving a regular tile or you're moving a glass tile. And if you step on the glass tile, it breaks away. And this game quickly dives in to the pool of what the fuck is going on, because if you
Cool.
look at the trailers of this game or like just screenshots, it's just very plain looking. It looks like it's ripped out of like
A Game Boy
an NES or like a Game Boy, because it's just 3 colors max. But what they managed to do with it is very odd, because on its face, it's just a Sokoban style game. You're just moving around and trying to navigate these puzzles. They'll add elements of like, okay, now there are enemies in this specific tile set, and they move when you move, or they only move when you like come across one of their cardinal directions. And this game gets very difficult really fast. It really reminds me of how difficult and like head banging Baba Is You would
Yeah,
occasionally.
Baba's used what it's reminding me
Oh,
of. Yeah.
okay.
Is this
Where-
a Chips challenge like?
Yeah, actually, this is exactly like Chip's Challenge.
Okay. Why didn't
Um,
you just say that?
I always say everything is like Chip's Challenge, so I want to be
I'm sick
compared
of
to
it.
something else. So if you're looking in one cardinal direction, you can't turn around in place, right? So if you wind up moving your character forward, you can only place a tile forward or move forward. You can't turn to your left or your right in that spot. You have to be able to like move around in like the grid to face left or right. So it gets very challenging there. There's a lot of weird shit in this game, though, guys. There's a very interesting story.
Is it what's the card game from a couple years ago? The one in the cabin.
Inscription?
Yeah, Inscription. Are you thinking like along those lines?
I wouldn't go as far as to like kind of read.
It's not like changing genres or anything like that ever.
Well,
But okay, okay. It's mysterious at the very least.
it's
Yeah,
mysterious
you're
at the very
piquing my
least.
interest.
There's a lot more underneath the surface of the game. The music is also fantastic, and I also think it's great how they'll have full-on character portraits occasionally. And when you start the game, there's a cinematic, and it's all done in like the similar art style where it's only utilizing like 3 colors, and it's really impressive what they're able to pull off. There are moments in this game after you complete a couple of tile sets or levels, floors, whatever you want to call it, where you come across a tree to take a break. And I suggest that instead of continuing on and just jamming through more puzzles, go stop at the tree,
Okay.
take a break, because then it'll actually force quit the game, because interesting stuff will happen once you kick the game back up.
Cool.
Okay.
And
That's cool.
it's it's weird, y'all. There's points where it's for being like a simple format of a game of just pushing tiles around. There have been moments in this game where like my heart is pounding, and like I'm trying to race against like an internal clock in my head of like no, I gotta keep going down. I gotta keep going down. I need to see what's next. So there is a lot more to the story of Void Stranger than just pushing tiles around. It's wild.
It's
also
doing well on Steam.
for being like a very simple looking game, very bosomy.
Oh, okay. Well, let me go download it.
So it is
Um,
a Catherine like. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good call out. Bosomy, like cleavage,
Yes.
heavy cleavage game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking about
Boobs.
a heavy
Titties.
Okay.
speaking about a heavy cleavage game, Jeff Grubb, you've been playing Forza Motorsport.
That's right. And the bonnets on these cars, woo boy.
Woof.
So I'm in the I was in the preview period for it. It's going to turn off today, so I have to use the past tense. I think I got some footage of it. I'll try to put something up. I can only do the first sort of race circuit. But this is Forza Motorsport rebooted. You know, as much as you can reboot a racing game, basically that means that they took some extra time to put extra effort into improving the racing engine and how that feels. But I think they've also done a lot of work to like how the game presents itself, which is really what's actually, it's the combination of factors. I think Forza Motorsport has always done a really good job of being fun, even if you're someone who's like not super into racing sims. A lot of that comes down to they have a strong focus on the feeling of the car meeting the pavement and what that feels like. And a lot of that was hey, the Xbox controller actually has really good haptics in its triggers, so you can feel like when you're gassing it too much and the tires are beginning to slip. Like you could feel that in the controller, and it was also you could hear it. There's just a lot of feedback to help you get control of your car and feel like you have this command of it. So that stuff was always there. They still have that. I think it's even better here. But they've also got this progression system that is very rewarding, where you are unlocking a bunch of parts for your car, and then you can either manually add them to your car to upgrade it, or you can just hit the button, say auto upgrade, and now you're even more powerful and you have a better chance of winning the next race. And
that's nice. I think Dan has this problem too, but like really getting into the weeds about like tuning my car was always a bit much for me.
Same here. I'm not gonna do that. I'm kind of doing that with Armored Core 6, but even there it's a little bit much for me. Right?
Yeah, that's I feel like simpler. For some reason, when it's something like made up like a robot, I get it. A robot, excuse me, but like when it's a car, which is a real thing, I'm like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
I think we were talking about this, and like the thought came across my mind where it's like, at least with Armored Core 6 or games similar to that, you feel the difference because like it's immediately impacting you versus with a car, it's more fine tune adjustments, right? Like
I guess my robot has 4 legs now. Like I get it.
Exactly. Right? Like my car, it's like, I don't know what this carburetor does. I don't know what a carburetor does.
That's the thing that like sends fuel into the pistons, I think.
You just said piss.
Yes, I did, and pistons. So that's fun. Okay, so it's like yes, the options are there for you to go in there and use the parts manually. You can also then separately tune those parts. So if you're a real freak, the game is still that game. I have not engaged with the tuning at all, and I've only engaged with the upgrades so far as I hit that button that says automatically improve my car, and then I see the performance indicator, that PI number, which has been in Forza for a long time. I see that go up, and then I'm still in like the D-Class car, but now it's D-Class 599, the very top of D-Class, so I know I have the best chance of outracing my opponents if like we're on a straightaway. Now, there's still variations there. You could still maybe spec your car differently if you wanted to be better at braking and turning, so you maybe overtake people in the turns as opposed to the straightaways, but again, that comes down to whether or not you want to engage with that stuff. What's really getting me, what's really like, I'm like, oh man, I miss Forza Motorsport, is that presentation of every, like during the race, I'm upgrading my like personal like rank a couple times, and then my car rank is going up a couple times, and it pops up with those, you know, those chimes of like level 9, and it looks and sounds so good, and it's this constant stream of rewards, and it looks so slick, and all that stuff is just working so well that I'm like, I am just having a great time. And then when I get in the race, I feel like I'm moving past these guys, and it's like a real battle, and I get into it so much that I anytime I like hit another car, I'm like rewinding. I'm like, no collisions, I'm gonna play clean races, and it's like, oh, it's winning me over, and I'm back into Forza Motorsport again.
I want to ask you, because one thing, I was in this preview and just never played it because of PAX and then a million other things, and I just felt bad about that.
I just played it like the past 2 days.
What are the vibes like? So like in a Gran Turismo, I like the vibes there quite a bit, and then in a Forza Horizon, which I know is very different, like the vibes there I find off-putting. The whole we're partying and we're on social media, you know, as you put it, that whole thing. What are the vibes like in this one? Do I get that? Do I get some Ford versus Ferrari vibes in this?
It is much closer to Gran Turismo's. Like we are calmly all just super into cars, and we are just gonna have like a mellow conversation about why this chassis is so much better than this other one.
That's what
but
I want.
It is mostly like a lady talking to you about what you need to do to be a better racer and what you need to do to your car to make it a better car. And it's all presented. It's very classy, is what they're going for.
That's what I want.
Much the opposite of Forza Horizon. This is all about. We are high-end car enthusiasts, and that means sometimes you're going to be in a Volkswagen Golf, but here's why Volkswagen Golf actually fucking owns, and like we're totally into those just as much as we're into rare supercars and ultra supercars.
Your McLarens.
Getting your McLarens and stuff. So yeah, I was playing in a Nissan was a GTR. I'm not a car guy, and then I played a little bit of the Ford Mustang. And I like to have those like the Nissan is like, oh, this is a tuner car. This is something like where you're going to be trying to spec it up so it's way better than the street version that you buy. And then the Ford Mustang is like, this thing's just going to go, and it's going to be the kind of one that's like when it's really going, it's going to be hard to control, and that's where you really the force feedback and the triggers really matters. So. Just test those both out. It's like all that stuff is still true. It's still Forza Motorsport. It's not some complete like clean slate in any way. It just is at the same time. I think probably the best the series has ever been, and that's exciting. As someone who, when I've reviewed a lot of these now, and whenever I do, I end up having a great time, and I'm having a great time again.
Follow-up question to Mike's vibe question here, Grub. What drink would you equate Forza Motorsport to? Yeah, I think of Gran Turismo as like an espresso, right?
Yeah,
Very
cafe.
clean, very precise. Forza Horizon's like a Monster Energy drink.
Yeah,
Maybe it's like
definitely energy drink.
It's like a buzz ball, maybe, you know?
Crew Motorsport's a Ford Loco.
Yeah. I definitely associate it with like you are going to a really nice brew pub. Like you're going into a place that is
Guinness.
Like a 10,000-year-old brewery that has like wood everywhere, but they've like they keep it like updated and they keep it feeling nice and stuff.
Smells good in there.
Smells yes, there's a good smell. Like, and it's like they clean this every day. And it's not just like cleaning products. They have their own way of cleaning it, and then they polish everything.
They have a custom scent. Yeah.
Yes, it's really slick, and it's really it's like earthy at the same time. I think is kind of what I would go with.
On top of that, would you say something like SnowRunners is like diner coffee?
Yes, it's definitely that is blue. Yes, diesel fuel and diner coffee and menthol cigarettes is
What's
what that is.
McDonald's Diet Coke of racing games?
That's
Burnout
the new
3.
That's the new truck game that's coming out this week that I'll be talking about on the next Bombcast, which I can't remember what it's called, but it really is coming out. Let me get the.
You're really
browser
excited
out.
about it.
I'm
Minotti,
very excited. What is it?
Tasted that concoction.
Heavy duty challenge. It's got
Heavy duty challenge.
September
Back when you seem
14th.
upset, everybody knows that that's a thing. The McDonald's Diet Coke's the best Diet Coke.
Oh, I thought it was no. Didn't you say something about cigarettes?
Oh
Yeah,
no,
menthol
that's Grub.
cigarettes. That's
sorry,
the truck
okay.
driving game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I
don't
think
like cigarettes. Don't smoke, kids.
Don't smoke.
Don't smoke. Instead of review scores, I think we should honestly just start issuing like drinks to games.
Yeah, I
you know?
like that.
Like,
I think we should standardize our review scores and have to say how long we played each game for. God, somebody said
Some
that
idiot online.
Yeah, I don't even know why I brought it up, but it annoyed me, and I had to say it.
Could you imagine if like there
Jesus
was like
Christ.
some regulatory body that came down and told us how to review games?
oh,
I
let's
would
let's
give
be
them-
that. Let's do
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's what we should do.
That's us.
Punch down.
Yeah.
Yeah, piece
Oh,
of
no
shit.
one gifted that.
Piece
No one
of
gifted that.
shit.
I gotta go wipe a butt. I'll be right back.
right.
Well, I
I
was
hope it's
gonna.
His.
I'll change the next game I was going to talk about. Mike, you tweeted something about furry Nintendo 64 characters, and I couldn't be happier that you're here today to talk about this.
What?
Pseudoregalia?
Regalia?
Regalia.
Yeah. This is one people have been telling me to try out. It came out this year. It's an indie game. It's on PC. I don't know if it's anywhere else. But its whole thing is that it's a 3D Metroidvania with kind of like Mario 64 mechanics with some combat stuff, but it's a lot of platforming. It's very 3D platformer heavy. The aesthetic is entirely Mario 64, Nintendo 64. It specifically looks a lot like that one level in Mario 64 where you have to like change the water level a bunch. You know, it looks.
Yeah, I'm looking at the video. Yeah,
it looks like that a lot. So like a lot of that stuff is just like pretty like okay, yeah, retro throwback. We see that, and then for no reason, like the main character is like a furry with like pretty chesty.
Oh.
There's an option beginning if you want her to wear pants or not. No pants is the default option, right? So it is weird, like just like this, like otherwise like completely different thing it's going for, but then all of a sudden, like, oh, by the way, like there is like some furriness to this thing for sure. It's kind of like that. Remember Dust and Elysian
I do
Tale?
remember Dust.
Oh,
Yes.
I've never
like
forgotten
a
about
really-
Dust.
It was a really good 2D Metroidvania action game, but just like surprise furries, right? And I was like, okay. And I think for some people that might be hard to get past. It's easier to get past here because there's no like voice acting, there's no real story, which I like. You just go, and all the 3D platforming feels very good. It is a pretty old school Metroidvania style where there's no even like in-game map, so it's very easy to get lost. Like even I, who am generally not complaining about getting lost these kind of games, I like getting lost. I was getting pretty lost sometimes.
Wow, real
Yeah, I
Dave
had to get-
Jaffe over here.
I
Sorry,
know.
man.
You're just
Had to get
asking
people
for a
help.
grub.
I know.
He wants it. He wants it so bad. I don't want to be involved with it. Jeff, I want
Mike,
you to know
why'd you
how
say
bad
that?
if I ever hear David Jaffe say the words Mike Minotti, I'm gonna be so mad at you.
Oh,
have that in my
I
bingo
welcome
card.
it.
Yeah.
I welcome it.
I do not need that in my life. No, please. I'd rather have a furry, pantless character in all my games than have that happen.
Hell yeah.
I am
Mike-
intrigued.
Like you're,
It's fun.
well, I think we're pretty harsh judges of these games that are trying to be like the games from N64 and PlayStation, and even like the 2D games that are like, hey, we're going to be like a new Metroidvania or a 2D platformer. And most don't get too close to actually recapturing that magic. Is this close enough, or does it meet that sort of level of expectation?
Yeah, I've been critical of like these, indie games have cracked the 2D nut for a while, and making 3D platformers has proved more challenging. We have some that are doing well or getting close. I know a lot of people like A Hat in Time. It didn't quite reach that spot for me, but like we've been getting better. And this is like another promising step there. Where again, just the basic feel of it is very good. The actual platforming feels fantastic, and that is the most important. Even like the wall jumping mechanic's interesting. It's more of a wall kickoff you do.
It looks
You can only do it
good.
3 times. Yeah, so it just feels really nice to play. It was pretty breezy. I was enjoying
Yeah,
it.
I was going to play it after Armored Core 6 on my Steam Deck or my Ally, but I've been having issues with Armored Core 6. So
We all know
maybe
Rogers and
after that.
Ally. It's interesting you brought up the whole Nintendo 64 vibe, Grub, because as a complete novice to game development, and when I say novice, I mean I have no existing knowledge. Is it easier to go after something super stylized like this, where it's like super low polygon intentionally, or is that harder given like the tools with developers now? I'm not asking for an answer. I'm just positing that out into the
I
universe.
imagine that like listen, it's always you're always going to save time if the fundamental number of like polygons is fewer, I suppose. But if you're going for style, like it's always going to take time to get that style right with everything you build. So there's always some level of difficulty involved.
If folks, I'm also glad that this art style or this look of new Nintendo 64 games or like new PS1 looking games is being slowly taken away from the horror genre, because I feel like I've built up negative associations now, because every other indie horror game I will see blow up on Steam or on Twitch looks like a PS1 game. If folks want to check out another game that is similar to, or Pseudoregalia, but completely different game, Anodyne 2 looks like a PS1 game. Very fun looking. We were talking about customizing parts earlier with Forza Motorsport. Just like Grub, Mike, and myself have been customizing parts in Armored Core 6.
That's a game. That's a video game.
Grub,
it's
your
real.
enthusiasm and Dan's enthusiasm got me to kick back in.
Oh.
Yeah, so like because you did the quick look for us, and I'm like interested like to hear like what your your second round has been like.
The second round, I think I've been more understanding, I guess. And I think like playing it with the time crunch of trying to get the quick look out by a certain date colored my opinion poorly of the game. But man, this game like just fucks.
Yes, it does.
I also think I was
absolutely does.
approaching it in a different style than how I would want to play it, because I was equipping 2 guns versus like a gun and a melee weapon, and I think like I eventually shied away deviated away from that, because the 2 gun thing was what I used to get through a lot of the harder bosses in the game, specifically the one at Chapter 1. I had to use like 2 plasma rifles.
Yeah.
But then I eventually stuck with the plasma rifle, or like the plasma gun that looks like a satellite dish, and then just got the big punchy nail thing.
Yeah,
I got
know
that too.
one.
I just
you're doing
love
the
that
pulse
stupid
gun,
thing.
right? The pulse gun is the one that looks like a satellite dish, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. That's like Well, for one thing, like once you start recognizing that certain enemies do have certain weaknesses and some of these weapons work better, that's a huge important thing for sure. But like going in there and just like seeing if like your default guy is going to work is still a lot of fun. And I don't know, for me, it's just the atmosphere and how much fun it is to actually move around and fight these bosses. And for me, like I was telling this to Mike, like this is what I want boss fights to be these days. And I don't think this like Final Fantasy 16 does not compare favorably to this, where it's like, hey, we're gonna make this so easy. These checkpoints are gonna be halfway through the fight. You're like, don't worry, we're gonna give you all your stuff back. Like we just want you to, yes, we just want you to succeed. And it's like, I want to feel I want to overcome something, and Armored Core 6 is definitely that. But yeah, I just think that segment where you fight all those invisible mechs that first time, and like you recognize like, oh man, what's like, oh, I'm being ambushed. Like this is about me. Like I've been messing stuff up so much. They specifically want to take me out. And it's like you get cornered and then you turn around and it's like, okay, I'm going to fight my way out. I just felt so cool. It's like probably my gaming moment of the year so far.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
Yes, it was really powerful stuff. But I have been having that bug where I lost a lot of progress.
What happened?
How many hours?
I think, okay, so actually I might have overstated when I said 10, but it's at least 8 hours of progress.
That's a lot of time in this game.
In total across like 3 times when this bug has hit me. So there was a bug with the game. People think it might be fixed now, where if you are using Steam and you have the Steam saves turned on and then, whatever, you go, like you load up the game, it might be overwriting your current local save with an older cloud save. And now this would probably not be so much of an issue if I was just playing on my PC, but I'm playing on the Ally, which it doesn't do great with like going into hibernation mode. When you hit the power button, you're like, oh, I'm going to turn it off. Like it's a Steam Deck. I can just turn it off and bring it back later. Or like a Switch. I'll just hit the button and I'll bring it back later and finish it. And most of the time it works. But every once in a while, it's like, oh no, all this got fucked up. We wanted to restart this thing for good reasons. I swear, we're Windows. And then I get back in the game and I'm like, all right, let's go. I hit the button and it's like, no, actually you need to like go back 3 hours. And like a lot of times I'm like, I'm right there, right? It's like, no, I had to do one mission, then I had to do all the arena stuff I already did, and then there was 3 more missions after that. And I'm like halfway through getting back for the third time. At least it's a very good game, so I want to keep playing it. But boy, that last time it happened was very, very frustrating. So I like had taken steps to avoid that. I turned the Steam save thing off now, so apparently that will fix it, I guess. But and shame on me after 3 times, I guess. But shame on me for thinking games should work. From always a little bit weird with their PC ports, just always not quite there. So I guess I should have learned a lesson at some point. But hey, this is still one of my favorite games of the year, even despite all that.
What's the mech composition looking like, Grub?
Yeah, so I usually I would try to go light, and I definitely I like to have a melee weapon. And then I probably will try to have either I like the laser handgun actually, because that's a light weapon and it does enough damage to or at least like it helps get you stagger at the very least. And then the shoulder might be a laser I'll have like a laser cannon on the shoulder and then like a big old ballistic missile thing on the other shoulder. And that's been good. But a lot of times I'm like, okay, I do need something bigger and heavier, something that's more resilient. And then I will go with the tetra legs and I'll be floating above and I'll just have 2 big guns and then those big grenade launchers on the shoulder. That's been great as well. It's been very useful.
I eventually settled on a dual Gatling gun for like my main arms, and then was just kind of using those really heavy grenade launchers. When you get deeper into the game, like you really do not need any like those multi-spread, multi-lock-on missile things. Like the idea of like fights where you have to fight a lot of small things just become pretty trivial. After a while, you really want to spec entirely for those big one-on-one fights.
Oh yeah, totally. Yes. But it's either way, it's fun to mess around with a bunch of different builds as well. I was happy not to get like pigeonholed into any one concept of what the mech should be. So
and it's nice because you can sell your part if you buy something, you can sell it for price
at
whenever,
cost,
so it's not a commitment.
Yep, absolutely.
Grub, I think you nailed something when you were with a comparison to FF16 where Armored Core 6 really handles scale of boss sizes really well, and I think it just because it just you still have all of the tools that you have from navigating the levels, but with like these big bosses,
And they
but
are
with
big
boys, varying sizes and degrees, or not even big boys, but just like in terms of scale of attacks, right? Like here's just 1,000 missiles, and you're not going to be able to avoid all of them.
This is a big thing I had to learn. Is like, this isn't necessarily like Sekiro, where it's like anytime I'm taking damage, it's the end of the world. It's like, no, this is like
it's a family.
You need. It's a war of attrition here. You need to be able to withstand some damage sometimes.
I have to ask for the folks that are watching live or the archive with New Game Plus, because I'm very curious about this, and I've heard some rumblings. Are you just rolling through with your existing tool set? Does it get easier? Does it get harder? Or what is happening there?
Yeah, I haven't messed around with New Game Plus much myself, and I'm kind of interested to, because I know there's multiple endings, but I didn't know if there's like much else to it aside from just getting those different endings. And you see different boss fights too as you kind of go down those routes. So it'd be interesting. There's just a lot to play, so it's hard to be like, let's play through this game again now, because I gotta beat Starfield still. There's a bunch of other stuff coming out. I need to play Baldur's Gate 3. It's difficult to. I'm gonna beat this game 2 more times now.
Yeah.
People in chat are saying that there's a lot of new stuff in New Game Plus.
And I do want to see that stuff. I want to see that stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm enjoying my time. My problem still persists is like my own physical limitations of my hands getting very tired playing this game because like I'm hitting every single button all the time. But I do feel good doing it. It's like, all right.
Do you have like an Elite controller or anything like that? Anything with a back button?
No, I've just been using like the DualSense with it. But maybe I should get like an Elite controller with like the little back buttons.
Yeah, because I haven't done it on the Ally because it has 2 back buttons. I'm like, I should set those up as the like secondary triggers up here so that I can be doing both at the same time without having to get both hands up on top of the Ally, which is actually relatively uncomfortable for me. Both fingers up there. And it's like, I do that sometimes, like when I have to, or I'm like doing like these weird, like I'll bring my thumb up for a second and hit the button because I'm like, I just need this weapon to go off now and nothing else matters. And very few games put you in that situation. This is definitely one of those though.
Well, Armored Core 6 apparently is a giant fucking game, just like Starfield is a giant fucking game.
Oh boy.
Rocco's been biding his time.
No, it's all good.
We chatted briefly about Starfield. Oh, not even briefly. We spent a good like chunk of time chatting about Starfield in my hotel room with Grub, Mike, Tam, and Lucy. Bakalar, you got any thoughts on Starfield? You like it? You enjoying your time in space?
Space.
So I played like 10 hours of it before I left for vacation and did not think about that game at all while I was away. So that means that it didn't really stay with me.
Sure.
I think Starfield is fine. I think it is like the most polished, impressive version of like that legacy Bethesda thing, right? I think it is very much kind of like stuck in a time that is before us. And I don't think there's a lot that is great on the surface. I think, I've enjoyed time with it, but I also am not engaged with the thing it presents you at the start. I think the main story, that whole thing, is very underwhelming. And I've started to hear people say like, well, the main line is garbage. And I just don't understand why that's okay. I don't understand why everyone's like, well, look, the main thing is really not fun, but it's all the other stuff. And I'm like, that's cool. But I go to the restaurant for the dinner. I don't go for like the bread that they serve or the appetizers.
Unless it's Cheesecake Factory. The brown bread.
I don't go to Cheesecake Factory, but you understand my point. Okay.
Actually, no, I kind of don't, because I definitely never did the main thing in Skyrim, and I played that game for hundreds of hours.
Yeah, no, like again, that's fine. You could theoretically only eat bread and have appetizers.
Well, I don't think that's bread. I think that's the main thing, is what I'm saying. Like to me,
okay,
yeah,
all right, yeah. I mean,
because it's the sandbox is what I'm going there for. Now, I don't know if Starfield does that stuff as well. And I do think the main thing actually gets pretty interesting after some time. So, and I'm not here to tell anybody to like, hey, go get through this stuff you're not liking to get to that good stuff. No, it's put it down if you're not enjoying it. It's
Yeah,
not
for
a game
sure.
You're gonna
Like,
enjoy.
Like I found that abandoned space casino, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a neat moment. I just
Sure.
don't. I think the exploration in this game is very bad. I think it is just not like. I don't know. I wanted to scratch that kind of itch, and again, that also comes from the way it was kind of presented, right? Like
Definitely.
I didn't just come up with that idea myself and be like, "Hey, this is probably a great game to explore." Like, no, that was shoved down everyone's throat.
Oh yeah, I think
You
that's
know,
one of my
so, like-
biggest problems.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so like
it's my
don't
biggest disappointment for sure.
exactly. And I wanted to get lost in that kind of thing. I know people are really bummed out with how like it's all sort of like smoke and mirrors, the space travel stuff, and it's like, all right, well, video games are hard. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, you could still land anywhere you want on the fucking planet. Yeah, it's just I think it came in exactly how I thought it would. I started to get really excited about this game after that first 40-minute thing that they showed, right?
Yep,
I
really
wasn't
good
excited,
presentation.
right? It was really good. They
Yeah,
did
that
they
won
did
me
all the,
over. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the thing that pushed me over from like I'll play it when it's here to like I'm now casually interested in this thing. And I think that has kind of all but evaporated. I don't know if I'm going to be going back to this game simply because there are two incredibly anticipated games that are coming out very soon. Wonder and Alan Wake 2.
I thought
and
it was
that's what I want
Roblox
to play.
maps. Okay, never mind.
Man, Spider-Man get fucked.
Yeah, and Spider-Man as well. So those
You don't
three
want
games
19
are,
inches of Venom, huh? I get it.
Yep, those three games for me is the tribunal that I care about for the second half of 2023. That's what I'm looking for. Alan Wake is a very big deal to me. I'm a horror freak. I want that so bad. And Starfield for me is just kind of gonna be in the rear view for a little bit, I think.
I think that this is what I've said to Mike, where I'm like, I'm kind of over listening to people talk about Starfield because everything that everyone says about it is right. Like, yes, if you are that experience that you had, Bakalar, is definitely in that game, and I've been able to find some fun, but I had to get over some of my disappointments and meet the game where it's at, and it's been. Now I'm at a point where whenever I pick it up, I'm usually having a good time because I know where the fun is now.
Yeah.
But again, I'm like that is it's hard for me to say that and then like not make it sound like, well, so no, now you need to go find that fun. No, don't. Definitely don't.
I just think like from a fundamental point of view of like you start the game and you want it to be interesting, right? It's not there. It starts off incredibly weak, and I can't wrap my head around that. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yep.
Like you start with your banger, right? You start with the finale is like a thing you hear a lot. You want that engagement right away. Suck me
It
the fuck in.
didn't prestige you, is what
Didn't
it's saying.
prestige me, man.
Like,
That's
we
what I'm
had
saying.
we have a lot of memes about starting in that wagon in Skyrim because people remember that. I don't think we're going to see a lot of people talk about, remember when you started
In the
mining
mines?
in
Yep.
a cave?
Remember when you
for
went down in
little
a
bit?
fucking elevator for 48 seconds?
It's like,
And
yeah.
and the whole I think their idea was that, well, that's not really the coming out of the wagon moment. That's not really the coming out of the vault moment. Like that's going to happen way later than you expect, and it does happen way later than you expect. But even some of that stuff is slightly subdued because the subject matter that they're tackling is one that has been being tackled by a lot of different stuff right now.
Yeah,
And
I don't want to talk about that because spoilers, but there's the twist, and I was just like, oh Christ.
I got turned, and I think it's easy to get turned off. Again, like when I played Skyrim too, I was also, what is that, 15, 20 years old?
It's 11 years old now. Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus.
Wow.
Okay, sorry to age all of us collectively. Yeah, like I was in a different place in my life when I was 30, so that's fine. But like, I think there's like so much, I want to be walking up a hill pushing like a light load. I don't want to have to like really dig into the ground and like be encumbered, and like the fact that you literally are pushing against so many of this game's mechanics so early on, right?
Yeah.
It like gets in its own way for me a lot, especially, and with the encumbrance is a real thing too. Like, 4 hours in, I'm like juggling 38,000 things that I've found, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
What is all this?
The game? I mean, I like games that push back against you. The game is trying to tell you stop picking up everything, but it's hard not to. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Give me all of the ducks.
I don't know.
I need them.
Looks great. The game looks great. I love like going in and out of the space maps.
I don't think anything you've said is like negative.
Yeah. Like I showed,
like properly diagnosed, I'd say.
I freaked out Dib because he saw Earth all fucked up. He's like, "Why is Earth like that?" I'm like, "Well, buddy,
sorry, you got some bad news.
Buckle up, my friend, because
if you let Disney win, this is what's gonna happen."
Exactly.
That's the Disney fails timeline. Don't believe that. Don't believe this anti-Disney propaganda.
I'm pretty intrigued by the main storyline at this point. Even though I kind of had a similar reaction to Mike, where he's like, "Oh Jesus, we're doing this." The way that you interact with it is, I'm like, "Oh, okay, that still is kind of different than all these other things," and it has implications for yet even more of those coming out of the vault moments that I'm looking forward to. And they give you some answers about what happened to Earth and like who's responsible, and that stuff is pretty interesting as well.
Dying breath. Just draws a couple 3 circles in the sand.
Ride of a lifetime.
But I'll say, like, this is a game that, like, almost any reaction to it's not going to matter. It's just going to be its own thing. It's its own genre, and people are. I mean, I'll come back to it after I'm done with this playthrough in a couple years to play with a bunch of mods, and it'll be something different. So yeah.
See, I guess that's like, I'm never gonna play with mods. I never have any interest in that stuff, and I don't know. I'm having a really hard time parsing my thoughts on this game. 'Cause like I keep going back to it. I enjoy playing it, and then I just like a million things come at me that annoy me. Just the general jankiness and kind of ugliness of the game is like a disappointing problem still. The lack of like the role playing, how rigid it is with how it wants me to do quests is I know Bethesda games have been like that, but I'm still kind of always shocked when I get back to them. Like, man, it's weird how there is only like 1 or 2 ways to do this game, even though it's like, here's your 50 different skills and backgrounds. And okay, this isn't a game that's going to account for all those. I am still going to have to, I can't just be like, I'm going to be the good guy and I'm not going to commit crimes. Well, the storyline is going to make me commit a crime, whether I want to or not. And like the game's going to have like its reasons for doing that. And, I could kind of ease up and meet the game halfway. And when I do, I am generally probably happier for it. But just always those things like, why is there no map? Why do I companions kind of suck?
We didn't even talk about the maps.
The maps.
What was that?
Don't worry, Bakalar. The map discourse has happened. They're not.
Oh, I missed a lot, didn't I? I missed a lot.
They're not good. I don't know why.
I don't know. I don't know. Truly baffling. On a level that I cannot even.
Which map are you even talking about? Like the local maps or the space map?
Anytime there's a map aside from the space map, the space map.
The problem is that there's not a map for like local stuff.
Yeah, but there's just sort of like a sundial or something. It's just it's insane.
I like because the worlds are designed in such a way where it's like there are signs that tell you where to go, and like that's pretty good. I can find my way around.
Sure, I like contextual
I still would like a map. Actually,
I think a map would still be nice.
Like it's the future. Where are the good maps? Give me good maps.
It's all implanted in here, baby. It's all about exploration.
Yeah. Well.
If anything, man, what a fucking game for Game Pass, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's still gonna be fine for that. Yeah,
sure.
Like,
I still feel like I know it's not, but every time I hear that, there's something disingenuous about it when I hear people say that.
No, like I genuinely
it's a backhanded compliment. Yeah,
like I genuinely mean it because like I'm just thinking from with all the games that are coming out and younger Jan already combined with my current poor spending habits and buying various popcorn buckets of like, man, I really want to play this game. I really want to play that game. Ah, shit, I'm not going to be able to play this. But like, fuck, man, Game Pass, all right. Dial in for
you're
like
looking for
a
game that just has so much stuff, just all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's like, you could build... Yeah, you could build outposts. Why? I don't know. Doesn't seem like I need to do that at all. Yep. You can build all these outposts, I guess.
Well, because I think the reason is some people like building outposts.
Some people just like to build outposts.
Well, yeah, like the freaks in Fallout that like building stuff. I'm like, all right,
I love that.
All right, you guys.
Yep.
Speaking about not super being into a game that everyone else is super high on, and this is before we'll get to Jeff Grubb's PAX Roundup, folks.
Oh.
I don't think I like Sea of Stars.
No! Boo!
Okay.
I don't.
Boo!
Also, I think Dan started it, and I got the vibe that it's not a Dan game.
Oh, come on. Well, it's a JRPG. Of course it's not.
I was
He
I'm
likes
like, Dan, I
JRPG.
don't-
Some.
He does not. He likes Mario games. And even though this one is just literally that, but without Mario, too much. Where's Mario? He's not going to have it.
So, what's wrong, Jay?
I don't know. You know what? Ogto actually says it there. I enjoyed Chained Echoes more than Sea of Stars. Indie RPG, yes, but very different style of game. I don't know what it is about Sea of Stars that's just not grabbing me, because I do enjoy like the active turn-based combat that you get in the Mario RPGs, right? The Paper Marios and all that jazz. But maybe I'm just not clicking with the story at all, or whatever, or the setting. Maybe I kind of want to be a little bit more lazy with my combat or something, but like I just see everyone else on the internet hyping this up as like the second coming of like Chrono Trigger, and I just do not feel that same way. And like I've spent time in it, y'all. I'm not just like clocking out at like 3 hours.
We don't need Bailey here to yell at you.
We don't need to get Bailey here. Is this her busy week?
We do, but not for this. Yeah.
This might be Bailey's busy week, so she can't come in here and yell at me. But like, I don't know. It also feels a little too easy in certain aspects. Like I haven't died at all yet, and maybe I'm just a professional gamer when it comes to RPGs or whatever.
Sure.
But I would. If you are not feeling Sea of Stars, don't worry. I'm right there next to you, friend.
Yeah, if you're not feeling Sea of Stars, you should feel bad. Your opinions are bad. And I am personally mad at you, and we're enemies.
Jen, how do you feel about Hollow Knight again? I can't remember. Do you like Hollow Knight or not?
Why are you doing that?
I liked Hollow Knight. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. There you go, Mike.
Yeah, I like Hollow Knight. Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. I get it. But I have been really enjoying Sea of Stars. I think it's maybe the prettiest pixel.
It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
I think the Messenger looked really good too. I never liked the Messenger actually.
Oh really? You've been afraid to tell me that for like 6 years now?
Yeah.
'Cause I really like that game.
Yes. I was like, oh man, should be my game, and it just never hit, and I don't know what. Yeah, like I got to the 16-bit stuff, and it's never hit for me.
Fine. I like Messenger. I like this. I don't know. I like the combat system does have that Paper Mario stuff, and it's also very. I like how you regenerate mana by attacking, so that you can actually use your abilities often, and it's not just like it's not a save these for the boss fights, and it's also not the only way we can think how to fix this is just to refill your MP after every fight, so it doesn't have to do that really over the head with the hammer approach. It's just like I don't know, it just seems really well crafted. There's a good mix of puzzles in the dungeons, like some, especially the indie RPGs, always go really too hard on that stuff, and it becomes a bit much for me. It's a good mix of the combat. The story is paced really well so far, which is another problem I think these indie RPGs often have, where they go way too heavy on it. They're so proud of their lore, they just want me to see all their lore, and this game is letting that stuff breathe a lot more for me.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, Mike. I'm
not glad for you. I'm mad at you, but no, it's fine, Jan. I don't care.
I want to let everyone know that I'm diving into the soul canon with my furry children. All right.
Oh, cool.
Wait,
cool.
That game? Which game is this now?
What?
What are you
Game. We're talking about a game. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
It's different. That's what he does after hours.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's not my time. I can't judge you for that.
Yo, Fuga 2, y'all. Man,
The hell's a Fuga 2?
This shit's intense, y'all.
It's the one with the furry children. You're putting their souls in the cannon, Mike. What the hell? Catch up.
This is what you're playing instead of Sea of Stars?
I think you might enjoy Fuga, actually.
Oh my God!
How dare you?
I think you would.
How dare you say this about me?
But
this Fuga stuff.
Not necessarily a game of the week, but we have Grubs, Pax Games, Roundup.
Here we go. Yeah. So
these are full-on furries. This is not furry light on this Fuga 2 business.
Hey, after Pseudoregalia, you may be all the way in, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, listen, aren't you a big Donald Duck fan? He doesn't wear pants either. All right. So we talked about some stuff.
Real?
We talked about Super Mario Brothers Wonder last week, but I played a whole bunch of other stuff. Like Thank Goodness You're Here, which is that cartoon-looking game.
How's that?
It's pretty good. It's like the kind of thing where it's like, okay, hey, there's a problem. The water's not coming out of the well. Well, okay, I'm gonna go over to the well. Let's see if I can find what the problem is. It's like, well, no, we can't see a problem. Maybe just jump down the well. And you jump down the well. And you're like, okay, I see the hose that's supposed to be coming out of the well, and it leads to somewhere else. So we're gonna explore this place for like a little bit. But now we're gonna go to this next screen, and then this next screen, and then the next screen, and it's like it kind of like has jokes on each one of these sort of cells, and all that stuff is pretty good. But I got the sense that the jokes were not for me; they're from people from England. Like,
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I get some of these, but some of them I don't fully understand. So I asked Tam and Lucy about it, and I asked Tam about it on Game This Mornings. I'm like, hey, it seems like they had a lot of jokes from the North. Which is like what people in England are like, hey, Northern England has its own culture and all that stuff. He's like, oh yeah, all that shit was super hilarious. I got all that stuff. It was very funny. Me and Lucy were having a great time. I'm like, okay, that's the sense I got. But it is super charming. It has a great look, super stylized. But it's like an adventure game. Like you're going to be solving problems. The guy is asking for meat, and a couple screens back, you saw a story that's like, you know, Timmy's meat emporium, and you got to go back to the meat store and go get meat from there, and that's going to require you to do something fun. Yeah,
That's triangle.
That's triangle.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought it was a really good looking game, and the humor was even hitting for me. I wish there was a bit more gameplay stuff in there. Like I don't know what that would even be.
You know,
but,
it reminded me of Untitled Goose Game, right? Where it's like,
Sure.
this is like something you experience a little bit, right? It's almost like you perform. And there's something to that, and I think it'll have its appeal. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a game that like blows up and like has a big popularity with an audience that isn't necessarily listening to this podcast. But I think at the very least, it's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye
Looks
on.
gorgeous.
And it
looks
looks
very
gorgeous.
good. It's
Shouts
very
out to
good art.
Harris Foster that we saw playing next to us.
Yes, we gave him some pointers. We gave him some pro tips.
I'm excited for it for sure.
Yes, and I think like if you have any excitement for it, I think that stuff will carry over into the game, and you'll probably have a good time with it.
So
go
I
ahead.
wasn't around for your Wonder. You talked about Wonder at some point?
Oh
They
yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
owns
Oh,
Bakalar.
that's
Yeah,
great.
it's
Great,
So
so
good.
good.
Guess what?
I think you and
You're
Dib are gonna have a great
good
time.
Yes,
Like
you're gonna
Dib
have
is
a
gonna
good time
enjoy
playing
it
with Dib.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Get
went back,
Marty,
played it
get
twice.
Stason too. You know.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, let's go. Let's go.
So much
There's
fun.
no collision, but unless you want to like be Yoshi, and then someone can ride on Yoshi, and all the power ups are cool, and all the Wonder upgrades that do all these
Such a
wild
good-
things at
the
each level.
animation's so good.
Can't wait.
Animation
You
is
can play as
astounding.
Daisy.
Plays Daisy.
Can't wait.
Okay.
Oh,
Did
piece
they
of my
ever?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did they explain why you don't play as like the mainline Toad? Like why are you like the blue Toad
so they,
and like
they stopped doing that in the new Super Mario Brothers games because the mainline tone is just also sort of red,
yeah.
and that's already Mario's color. So that's why they did yellow and blue, which weren't taken colors yet. And I think those two just then became kind of like the 2D Mario Toads.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that sounds right.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I got you.
Bakalar.
Super Bell Hill, let's go!
It's definitely like my most anticipated game now. It was
Hell
so much
yeah,
fun.
I'm
Super
very
fun.
excited. Very excited.
I played Alien Hominid Invasion for a very brief amount of time, and if people don't, Alien Hominid was like that old Newgrounds Flash game, and then they put out Alien Hominid
Behemoth.
from it's Behemoth Studios, who's always at PAX. They had a booth here, and then they did a GameCube version of like a real game, and it still is pretty much that game. There's some co-op. Where like you're going through the campaign together, and that's pretty cool. But it's still like little alien, big guns, shooting at a bunch of guys coming out on screen. Maybe there's a vehicle segment, and when you're shooting a gun, maybe sometimes the gun is so big that when you shoot it down, it actually shoots you up in the air. And it's like it's that game still, and it's like I wonder if there's still a place for it. But it's like I didn't hate what I played. I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
liked Alien Hominid.
Part of me's like, yeah, make this so that you can make Castle Crushers 2 next. And I feel like
I kind of think I would
people,
prefer
that's-
Castle Crashers too. Yes.
Yeah.
How
a
would
lot
that
of
even
people-
be now?
It's Castle. You can kind of get away
More.
with just doing that, but more like,
Sure.
hey, we have better tools now, and you probably maybe Behemoth has better resources. They can kind of soup that up a bit. I mean, they were already had a pretty good starting point with the first Castle Crashers.
Yeah, like that. That was like an early beat 'em up. That's like, this has more ideas of what it can be and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
there's RPG mechanics in it. It was a lot of unlockable characters. That was a
Just
you can
throw in
fart to
the
go faster.
Tears of the Kingdom powers into a Castle Crashers too.
There you go. Perfect. Yes.
So let me fuse everything.
Me and Mike played Tekken 8.
hey.
That was a lot of fun. We swapped some wins in there. I can't remember who I played as. Mostly I remember you beating me up as the wrestler.
King.
Did you put- King,
That was
right? You
King.
played
It was
King.
a lot of fun. Like
Yes.
I have not played Tekken much, so I'm excited to really dive into it with this one. But even already, like there was on-screen props explaining how to do some basic stuff and even some fancy stuff. And I was already chaining together some moves that looked pretty cool. It was very fun, very good looking game. I'm really excited to get some more Tekken time in.
Yes, and it's still very much Tekken. It's like, hey, you are going to be doing these big long combos, basically taking turns beating each other up.
Right.
And there's definitely space for that these days, where it's like, you got Street Fighter like doing its thing, and there's a handful of other fighting games that are ongoing concerns, and it's like Tekken, it needs to be one because it is a different change of pace. It's like actual 3D fighter where you can move around in 3D space, where like we actually don't have a ton of those anymore. So
no,
it was
rest
a lot
in
of
peace,
fun.
Virtual Fighter, bring it back.
One
I
day.
need a Dead or Alive. I've been on a weird Dead or Alive kick.
Oh,
because
we
of
know
reasons.
you and
Yeah.
Dead or Alive.
You know about being Dead or Alive. I want a new Dead or Alive, and not a volleyball one necessarily.
Badminton.
Just two more. Big Boy Boxing. It's like a Punch Out like. I had a real tough time with it, where it's like it might have been, I was on the show floor and I was like half listening to the game, but also listening to all the stuff around me. And so there was more audio cues, but it was very hard to get the timing of like when I was going to be attacked. And the one boss that I was going against was someone who was like, hey, I'm up here fighting, but no, like don't look over there. There's actually a guy that's going to pop off the side of the screen and punch you like with a stick. And then there might be a guy that comes down from the top and like comes out of nowhere. And it's like, I guess Punch Out's always had its gimmick characters, but they were never that gimmicked to the point where it's like, oh, I was never going to see that the first time. I was never going to be ready for that the first time. And so it's like, maybe it feels a little cheap. Maybe it feels like a little bit like I don't necessarily think that's in the spirit of Punch Out, but I need more time with it to know for sure. I'll say that it looks really good. This is it looks just like Punch Out, but with like a pixelated, super well animated take on that.
Right.
And I like all that stuff. Like in motion, in GIFs, in video, it looks fantastic. But just the feel wasn't right. But I'm someone who has now done some speed runs for Punch Out, so maybe my brain is poisoned, and I was never going to be able to get in.
You're an
That's always
expert
been-
now.
That's stuff for a lot of people, and like I've noticed for you too, and I'm kind of there with you. And like when you do like the spiritual successor game, like you better be pretty close. Like there's been so many games that have tried to beat Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and like if it's just slightly off, it's like up, it's ruined, throw in the garbage, right?
Exactly, like Yakulele. What's it
Ukulele.
called?
Ukulele?
Thank you. Like that one's, I think, like the best example of that, where it's like, oh, it just didn't quite feel right and wasn't quite there. And I'm getting similar vibes with Big Boy Boxing, but again, just a quick play session on the show floor.
How'd you feel about the life bar being displayed versus kind of just anticipating the end? Right.
So it's weird because it's like it doesn't, like they have a life bar, but I think you have this like 3 hits and you're down, like no matter what. And it's like that also is weird. So it's like it doesn't feel even, which, for as weird as Punch Out is, it always felt like, oh, this is a fair fight. Like we basically have the same abilities and the same sort of life, and it's like that's not how it feels here. So I'm gonna need more time with it. My first impression though wasn't the best, basically. And then Mina the Hollower. I actually got a chance to go, like they had didn't have anything on the show floor, but I saw the team there at the hotel we were at, and they're like, hey, we got it upstairs. You want to come see it? I'm like, yes, please. And I went upstairs and checked it out. And this is an update to the demo that I played, like the very early demo I played like a year ago. And it still feels fantastic. Mina the Hollower is the new game from the Shovel Knight team.
Yacht Club.
Yeah, Yacht Club games. And it's
Not your hotel, Bakalar. This is different.
I got it.
And you play as a little mouse that can burrow underground. That's what makes her the Hollower. And when you burrow underground, she can only do it for so long, and then she pops out, and then she pops out so much she can like jump over stuff. And you get in this habit of, I'm just gonna burrow everywhere, and then if I see a jump or an enemy or an obstacle, I'm just gonna jump over it and keep going and start burrowing again immediately. And I think it feels fantastic. I was going through a relatively late portion of the game, and the enemies were pretty tough. A lot of the battles were really tough, but it's like, oh no, this is stuff where I am moving around so fast, and I'm popping out of the ground, doing attack, trying to avoid them, getting back underground, popping up, going out somewhere else, like just quickly evading to safety because the whole screen is filled with enemies. And then once I get somewhere safe, I pop back out. I might need to heal, and then I get right back into the fight. And that flow felt really good. There was a cool boss segment where I had this big, super powerful secondary weapon where I'm like, okay, I need to just find the right time to use that and throw it into this big enemy's eye. And it's a modern day Link's Awakening Zelda game, and with all that might entail in terms of upgrades to how you move around the world. And so it was always going to be good for me. But I think this is one where it's like, hey, we're a spiritual successor and we're doing a lot more on top of that. And I'm like, that's another good way of doing one of these. And I'm really in favor of all the stuff that they're doing that is on top of
This
being
looks
a
great.
Zelda.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
this looks
So
amazing.
good.
I think
mean,
it's a
Shovel
really
Knight
good looking
is-
game.
Shovel Knight is still like such a seminal. It's like the best of all those people who try to make games. Like, well, what if they about a game that's like an 8-bit game? Like Shovel Knight
Knight's
is
the best.
the best,
Yep.
easily of those.
And I think that this is a great follow-up in terms of like, hey, what if we did a Game Boy Color game that's a lot like those Game Boy Color or Game Boy Zelda games? Yeah, I'm all in favor of that.
Hell
But
yeah.
that's that was my PAX roundup. Those are the games I played. We also saw a game that looks like Episode 1 Racer, and I didn't get a chance to play that, but I really wanted to.
Yeah, it seemed
Ascent
pretty early on
Rivals?
development, but
Yes, it did. Yeah, but
we all made
it
our
looked really good.
Now this is pod racing jokes. Don't worry, everybody.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, I remember now.
You remember? Yes,
Yeah.
I wanted to play it, but then like we were doing the Florida tour, and it's like it was taking a long time, so I just
Yeah, let's try spinning. That's a good trick.
I
Yes.
played a crane game and I won dice from it.
For real?
Dice
Yeah.
on your person. All right.
Mike played a kind of a crane game, and he won pizza out of the vending machine. Congratulations,
Oh, I
Mike.
was like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
God damn it, that stupid vending machine pizza was so gross.
Oh,
Worse than I
what-
expected. Backlord,
Okay.
they made me at almost practically
You
at gunpoint.
wanted a snack. And
Yeah,
then
I
you
wanted
were
a
being a whiny
meal.
little baby boy.
I
And
was
you're like, oh, we gotta
hungry.
get some calories.
So I'm sure that they like went off on their own and ate without me, and they laughed about how Minotti wasn't there the whole time. And then
did
when
it,
I was finally like, guys, I'm hungry too. They're like, wow, the pizza vending machine's right here. That would be content for us. You can't, yeah. So like,
Content monkey.
then they grabbed me by the neck, and I was like, I
I-
want to go to this real
The scruff,
restaurant.
the
They're like,
scruff.
shut up. And they threw me into this Hyatt, and they like I had to go up to the person, and Jeff was like, I know that this sounds like a crazy question, unless it actually is true, but is there a pizza vending machine
That's
here?
100% what I said.
And like, like with sadness in his eyes, he pointed us down some scary hallway, and yeah. Then I had to
really
buy
need
the
to hang
While
out
he was
with you,
ordering
Mike.
Bakalar,
Yeah.
or actually while he was waiting for the pizza to cook, everyone in the Starbucks right across from the vending machine was staring at him. It was
Yeah. It was
so
great.
funny.
because
It
it's
was so amazing.
humiliating. Yeah.
Yeah, then they wanted to get a picture with him after it was out.
It wasn't even
Sure.
like I've seen videos of pizza vending machines where it's like there's like a window and like you watch them like, oh, like the raw dough, and then they like put the
Yeah,
cheese in
no.
the sauce.
No.
This was
This
just
is
like a
Stouffer's.
Stouffer's frozen pizza that they heat poorly, then they shove it out of a slot, and then like there's like a drizzle of marinara on it. Calling it marinara is so generous. Probably ketchup mixed with like a
Offensive to your
spoonful
people.
of tomato paste or
Yeah, what-
something.
I mean, you expected a lot more. I get it.
No, I expected very little. God, the worst part is that while I was waiting for this machine to make my pizza, I had to get a drink, and there was literally a deli like attached to the end of this hallway. It looked amazing. It was like this mom and pop deli. It looked very authentic. Looked great. All I got was a freaking diet Dr. Pepper. Like couldn't even tell them I was getting a pizza from a vending machine.
Couldn't
They
look
probably
them in
would
the
have thrown
eyes.
me out. No,
I had a
couldn't look 'em in the
fantastic
eye.
espresso while we were at PAX. It was
I
great.
can't
good
wait
for
to
you.
one day hang out with you, Mike. I really.
Has that not happened
need
yet?
This.
No,
No,
I haven't
no.
met Bakalar in person yet.
I don't know what
Oh.
his like
Fear of missing
IRL
out.
presence is. You know,
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
a very
know.
calming presence, I'll
Oh
say.
wow,
Yeah.
that's what everyone
is.
says.
Looking forward to. I guess like I don't know, Game Awards maybe.
Game Awards.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, Game Awards would be fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would-
That's
I
actually
go
right
back-
on my. That's always right on my birthday. I think this one's December 7th. My birthday's December 8th. So if I did that,
Well,
I
we
would
got to go to
very
Disneyland.
obnoxiously make you all do something for me for
Yeah,
my
we'll
birthday.
take you to dinner for sure.
Yeah, somewhere themed,
Is
heavily
Well,
themed.
there-
don't press your luck. Let's. Maybe it doesn't
is there a
have to-
Charles Cheese in Los Angeles?
What's a Charles
Yo,
Cheese?
no.
Yeah.
man?
What's that?
there-
Is
Do
there
it.
Charles Cheese?
What's Charles Cheese?
Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Oh, Chucky, my boy Chuck.
Sure. Okay.
To
Now
be clear,
just
I
feel
don't
like
want to
the-
go to a Chuck E.
I feel like the
Cheese.
fucking
He
dad
doesn't-
now.
Mike,
I don't-
we've already established we'll inadvertently force you to go anyway.
Yeah, don't tell us what you want and what you don't like. It has no bearing on it, what we end up doing.
They have
Fair.
pitchers of beer and pizza.
It's
and
right, right?
animatron-
Chuck E. Cheese.
Animatronics.
They've got pizza. They sure do, folks.
As long as the pizza's not from a vending, that pizza will be so good compared to my fucking like cold on the edges, molten hot in the middle, crust texture all over the place. Just any kind of texture you can imagine.
Was this
that
was
bread
documented
there.
somewhere?
Oh
This was
yeah,
there's
documented?
video.
I got the video.
There's a lot of videos coming out, folks.
Yes,
Right.
he's working.
I'm excited.
Turns out editing 360 videos a pain in the butt.
Yeah, seems like it would be.
If only they make that software better. That's my one complaint. Well, folks, we've been talking about stuff.
This is a long first segment.
This is a very long time. I need to take a break. I need to think about whether or not I want to make another cup of coffee, and I think I will during this breaky break.
Nothing has changed for you, girl. 'Cause you are my only love. Hey, baby, you're the only one for me. And I'll never be lonely anymore.
Holy smokes, that was too much talk for a first segment. I was ready for like a tight 40 to 50. Talk about Disney, talking about games. We just had to gab and gab and gab.
And
I
apparently
just slept
chat's
through the Disney
mad.
stuff, so I'm good.
Apparently chat's mad we didn't talk about Jan's Tears of the Kingdom's thoughts. But man,
Oh.
imagine if we talked more. Imagine if we talked even more.
Jan, what do you think about Tears of the Kingdom? How good is that ending,
Wait,
right?
wait.
Oh,
No.
oh, wait. We were supposed to do this, Jan. Jan.
Right.
Wait,
Jan.
wait.
Right.
What's
Right.
happening?
Right.
So I just don't want any. Again, I'm very
We're not
late
gonna
to
spoil
this
it.
part.
No. Bakalar, we're just gonna keep saying how fucking good that ending is.
Oh yeah,
that's
great.
all we'll say.
Oh, gotcha.
But here's what's happening. Hey, Jan, that's save file.
Okay.
You have for
So
Zelda.
we were alluding to this on the last voicemail dump truck. I suggest you listen to the voicemail dump truck. It's a fun podcast with all of our friends. So I made a declarative statement, I believe, on this podcast. Shave my head if I don't finish Tears of the Kingdom by the beginning
Yes.
of the Giant Bomb PAX panel, the Saturday one,
That's correct.
not the one with Jenna Stieber. Shouts out to Jenna, great panel. And everyone did not believe in me.
Yeah, me neither. I knew you weren't going to do it.
And if you're looking at me now, if you're watching the video, you
He
can
looks
see.
so good though. This fucking asshole.
I mean, look at me. I shaved my head because I thought I didn't finish it. What I had done is that I paused the game, I hit the
My whole
home
thing,
button.
I told him like, hey, you should get like right to the end, and then.
That's
no,
high.
Oh my
this?
god.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Oh,
You might be on the wrong mic. Talk, Dan.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2,
Oh, no,
3.
That's good. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
There we go. I'm here. Hi.
We're gonna do news. Do you want to hang out for news?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
All right.
I just got back from it's like 2-hour dentist appointment. I got to get Invisaligns and all this shit. They got to take bone from my sinuses and put it in my mouth so
Yeah,
they can fit another tooth up there. And
You said that like, is that for that tooth? That one tooth thing?
I'm getting that tooth. That's after 9 months of Invisalign, it turns out. Oh, and also our insurance just super doesn't cover any Invisalign at all. So that's fun, even though I pay for the most
Fun.
expensive dental insurance. But yeah.
Isn't that
Gonna
always
fix some
nice?
shit up. Yeah.
All right. So Jan was talking about his Tears of the Kingdom save. And he was gonna, and I recommended to him, like, hey, for the panel, it'd be cool if you did get there. Let's say you do actually beat this game. What if you actually beat it in front of everybody? And so, Jan,
yeah.
he thought that was a good idea. He went for it.
Jan's gonna beat Tears of the Kingdom in front of people?
Well, he was gonna like do the last hit in front of people at our PAX panel, so you wouldn't have to shave his head.
But then he didn't do it, and he had to shave his head.
Well, what actually happened, Jan?
So I paused it at the last hit before the rest of the cinematic takes over. Hit the home button. I'm playing on my partner's Switch, mind you, because mine broke like a couple months ago.
So now your home Switch.
It's not my home Switch. So it occasionally has to re-authenticate, and it's like, hey, you need to be connected online to prove you can play this.
Yeah. That's a pain in the ass, yeah.
When we got to the panel, I fired up my Switch, and I just hear Lucy say, "Oh no, oh Chad, no." And I'd been working these
That's
fools
tribal.
the whole time on our little Discord because it dumped me right before the Ganon fight at the end, and I thought, "Oh shit!" It didn't save me. It reset because I had to resync to the internet.
Oh, so you saved before the last hit.
Yes.
So you basically lost a lot of progress in that last gauntlet, right?
No.
He did the last hit and then put him into like the sleep mode, and the game saves because it's a good Nintendo game. It saved and it put him in front of the fight because that's where the game puts you when you beat the game, and you restart your save.
Wait
And
a
his
minute.
save-
Oh, so it saved like, hey, you already did it. Oh, you must have wanted to skip this cutscene and everything, right?
Uh-huh.
He
Wait a
beat the
minute.
game. He beat
Am I-
the stupid game.
There was a star by his save, which means he beat the game.
Am I
He
to
beat
understand?
Tears of the Kingdom.
Am I to understand that Jan shaved his head even though he won the bet?
Yes.
He shaved his head for no reason. Right, we know
Exactly
the
right.
reason.
I think he
Yeah.
was working everyone. I think he wanted
No.
a shaved head. I think he was
Here's
working.
my theory.
Back on.
My
Tiny
theory.
mug smug grub. That's goddamn right.
Yeah, that's
the fuck is
awesome.
that?
You look amazing.
It's an
right?
espresso mug. I'm not going to
mug.
explain this every time. That's the last time I
That's
explained
crazy.
what's happening
Listen,
here.
I'm getting better at coffee, but every once in a while, because like we got the Nespresso thing, and we got a whole drawer with just the goo tubs or whatever, and like I never know, like I'll put the whole normal size coffee cup in, and sometimes you put one in, and you press the button, and it just squirts a little fart of brown stuff out, and sometimes it fills the whole coffee mug,
Shit.
and sometimes it overfills. So I don't know. It's fucking chaos in coffee land. I don't know how to do this.
Chaos in Coffee Land. Come on, that's got to be the name of the episode.
I did
Holy
guess.
shit.
The episode.
Chaos in Coffee Land.
Jen, the thing is that you just wanted to shave your head.
Well,
I know you
I-
wanted to shave your
I was
head.
gonna try and like work an angle after
Sure.
showing everyone I beat the game, but then that was ruined when I thought I didn't beat the game.
You're doing the Pedro
God.
arc from Napoleon Dynamite, is what you're doing.
Oh, don't say
I don't know what that
that.
means.
Pedro work. I don't like that movie.
I don't like that movie either.
I don't like the
but
movie
you-
either. The movie's bad.
I saw it
great.
once and don't remember
Great.
it.
You guys all, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's just Pedro
No
wanted to
Star
shave his
Wars
head.
Bakalar.
We should all talk about tater tots a lot. That'd be hilarious.
You wanted to
I
shave-
knew because Jan explained this to me, and I'm like, I bet you actually do have a save that's a beaten game, and
See,
I didn't say
and here's the
shit 'cause
thing.
I knew you wanted to
Here's-
cut your hair.
Here's the thing, though. I passed my switch to Grub, and then he saw where I was at and then laughed. And then I thought he laughed because, oh, well, I guess you got to shave your head now, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm now realizing
I
that
walked
the
away
gears were
knowing.
turning in his head in that moment of he's actually beat the game. This dumbass doesn't know that there's a star
Oh,
next to a
that's
save
really
to tell.
funny.
But you can load like an old thing. You can go to that list.
I didn't think about loading it because we're like a minute away from starting the PAX panel. None of the enforcers are telling us the
Oh,
mics
my-
are live. Mike and Grub are hiding in a corner somewhere in costume.
Wonderful. Excellent.
PAX is
It was a
great.
good
I love
panel.
PAX.
was a good
PAX is
time.
very fun.
We had a good time.
Shouts
proud
out to
of you
everyone that
guys.
came out. Shouts out to Steve for taking a bunch of wonderful pictures.
I'm there next time.
Yes, we all need
Yes.
to be there. We all
Yes.
need to be there.
We'll make
You
it
all
happen,
need to.
for sure.
You should all come to Pittsburgh for Awesome Games Done Quick in January.
Yeah, well, we're going. That's
That's
gonna be
my
a
neck
good
of the
time.
woods.
Yeah, Dan, we could have a games journalist race in Punch Out. At Awesome Games Done Quick. I'm
Why
sure
don't
they
you
would
come to
love that.
Summer Games Done Quick in Minneapolis, and we'll do it here.
Okay, well, I would
Oh,
actually
let's
love that as well.
let's tour games done
Yeah.
quick.
All
Yeah,
right, sure, yeah.
yeah.
We're Games Done Quick groupies
It's a
now.
freak show. The amazing, fastest games journalists alive. Come see them. They're freaks. We could do that show. Be good.
Who directed Napoleon Dynamite?
Oh.
Jared Jerusha Hess
Mike
or Jared
Hedberg.
Hess? What's his name?
Jared Hess.
see,
Wow.
I really love Nacho Libre. I don't like Napoleon Dynamite at all.
I
That's
ran up-
very strange because they have very similar energy.
I've never
They're
seen
very
I
that.
never
similar
saw
energy.
Nacho Libre. I saw Napoleon Dynamite and hated it, so I didn't see Nacho Libre.
I probably wouldn't like
also-
it.
What
There's
about Gentlemen Broncos? You guys
okay,
ever see
so
that?
there's certain scenes in that movie that are amazing. Jermaine
I
Clement
agree.
is so funny in that movie too. It's not for everyone. It's just not for everyone. But I think there's something there in those films.
I wanted to like Gentlemen Broncos more than I did.
Yeah, me
but I
too.
still-
Uncle
I still-
Rico in Napoleon Dynamite is empirically funny.
I ran a poll in chat. Napoleon Dynamite, yay or nay? Yay had 25. Nay had 25. A completely
Wait,
yeah,
25.
that
split.
sounds like
Divisive.
how it should be. You know,
Wait,
like,
25 was the 50 not seen it?
no, the 50 is just when you add
No,
them.
25 people.
25
not percent.
votes, not percent. Okay, I see. I
Nah,
see.
no, we're not doing
Yes, yes.
Steiner math here.
Yeah.
I have news.
Oh, right. Oh,
Good
right.
for you.
All right.
So does Scout.
Oh,
She's excited.
congratulations. So proud of you for getting news.
Why do I do this goddamn show? Why do I even put up with this?
We're going to talk about Disney World for another 30 minutes, actually. Fuck you and your
I'm
news.
down. I'm
Oh,
still
wait.
in it. I'm
Good.
still in
Sorry
it.
if this has been covered, but I have to ask this question. Mitch,
Yeah.
I saw the news of a $1,500 Disney movie box set coming out.
Sure.
Are you getting it?
No. What do I pay Disney Plus for? To then
I
spend
just thought
$1,500?
maybe the Disney cult, like,
Nah.
just threw money at the mouse or whatever. Okay, good on you. All right.
No, I don't need that.
If there was a $1,500 boxed Blu-ray set of like wrestling
Schwarzenegger.
documentaries, would you get that, Dan?
I mean, Beyond the Mat and Wrestling with Shadows are both on YouTube. I'm good.
Okay, all right. well,
Yeah.
that's-
And everything
Like
else, state-run media. So, yeah.
Who like sees a Blu-ray and is like, I gotta get that. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
do
like
physical.
4K,
I do
whatever,
physical.
right?
I thought about it for a second because I missed director's commentary.
oh,
yeah,
that's-
I think that's cool. They
I
should.
bet
why
there's
don't-
no special features on that shit. I think it's like each disc is probably just like the movie. It's all probably the same
Yeah.
menu. We're not having
Oh.
fun with it like the Star Wars DVDs back in the day. Or that Austin Powers
Jar
DVD where
Jar's the
Austin
key to all
Powers like
this.
danced the whole time and like said, "Yeah, baby," as you're like picking things like, "Yeah, menus, baby." You know.
Oh
They
man,
don't do they don't do commentary and streaming. You can't watch like
Most streaming doesn't have commentary.
No,
Yeah.
they
It's
if
should
you
do that.
if you
98%
buy
of
the
it.
digital copy, sometimes it'll have some of the special features.
But they're doing a do-over on the Nacho Libre. That's a different one. Nacho Libre is getting its own pull.
Yo,
it seems
I
split
love
also.
the Nacho Libre.
it's
Yo,
good.
It's like
Nacho Libre is good.
it's like top 15 movies maybe.
okay.
Can
I think it's funny. I think
Can I go as Nacho Libre for Halloween?
Yeah.
you
yeah,
could.
I
You
could.
could pull that off.
I think
Oh,
you
yeah.
can
I
really
think I
pull
could.
that
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
I
Greg.
know. Yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have a good look.
I
Like
mean,
that, so.
it goes against the fundamental rule of like your Halloween costume should be scary, but you do you. You
That's
know,
not a
that's fine.
fundamental rule. What?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
no,
all
Halloween
right,
should- yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
News.
Nacho
I'm
Libre's
a
on
fan of
Prime.
dressing.
Nacho
Yeah.
Fuck your
Libre's on
news.
Prime. Let's go do a film at 40s.
Nacho
Okay.
Libre. Yet the yeses for Nacho Libre are 24. The no's are at 23. So Nacho Libre slightly more popular than Napoleon Dynamite.
But it's somehow fewer votes though in favor of
It has
so it's very
Jack
confusing.
Black and a funny, chubby little child in it. What more could you want in a movie?
Yeah.
Sensitive to my people.
The news: the iPhone has a USB-C port, and they announced that our Resident Evil 4 remake, Resident Evil Village, and Assassin's Creed Mirage are coming to the new iPhone. This is what
What?
someone in chat
What?
just said. I don't
Oh.
know. Maybe- I'll double check this right now. Would you guys play those games on a phone?
Hell no.
No, I don't play
Fuck
any game on
no.
the phone.
Poop no.
Poop?
Oh, come on, Mitch.
No,
It
he
doesn't
said-
seem-
Whoa, whoa,
doesn't
whoa,
seem
Mike.
desirable.
Don't worry,
Doesn't
Blue.
seem like I would want to do that.
Yeah, Divisional Resurgence. What the fuck is that?
What the hell are you
Resi-
talking about?
I don't know. Someone said like that. These are like people who cover Apple. They probably
the
maybe they meant
Division.
yeah, they probably meant the Division, but this person said Divisional Resurgence. So,
yeah,
that's
they made
cool.
Division.
They're like,
That
they never
actually,
had a video game in their life.
They made me play that at Summer Game Fest or something, and that actually wasn't too bad. Like that mobile Division game that works surprisingly well.
Wow, Ubisoft show over here. All right,
know it.
yeah, Assassin's Creed Mirage on the, whatever. That's fine. But here's the real news: Embracer may sell Gearbox. Embracer Group is considering selling Gearbox software. This is according to a Reuters report. 3 anonymous sources familiar with the matter confirmed the consideration of a potential sale. There was an internal letter from Gearbox who's like, hey, we don't know what's going to happen. We might stay with Embracer. We might get sold, or we might go independent. Basically, what's happened is Embracer has hit the panic button, which is not the thing that Dan's grandpa thinks the panic button is. And because everything cost way too much. They spent way too much money on all this stuff.
For people who
And now-
don't know, Dan's grandpa thought that the G spot was the panic button.
It's just
That's right.
what he used. That's what he referred to it as.
does
the
that
panic
mean?
Button.
What does that even
I
mean?
don't know. Whenever he was trying to mention the G spot, he was like, I know the panic button.
I guess if it's not going
Oh.
well, just
Oh.
I don't know.
Just flip,
Punch the
flip
panic
the
button.
lid
Don't
open
punch
and then
it.
just go.
Yeah.
Turn your key, sir.
So he didn't associate that with sex at all.
No,
He was
he was
just like-
saying. No, yes, he was associating that with sex.
Yeah.
what other context could the G spot
No, but
possibly
the panic-
have
no.
outside of sex?
I'm misunderstanding. You're saying he thought the panic button, the phrase, also meant
No,
the
no,
G
No,
no.
spot?
that's just what he
Called
called the G spot.
Yes.
The panic button?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
That's fucking weird.
Gearbox is might get sold, but all this stems from Embracer Group never really had a plan other than, hey, Saudi Arabia might give us $2 billion more, and that'll pay
So
for everything else while we
fucking
figure out
stupid.
what's next. And then Saudi was like, hey, we're not giving you $2 billion anymore. We think you're actually kind of whack. And they were right, because as soon as that money went away, the Embracer Group has been in panic mode ever since. They have laid people off at Gearbox before this, and then they also closed down Volition last week or the week before that. It's bad over there. Embracer Group always felt like this thing. It's like, hey, they're going to try to make this new middle ground. Everyone talks about there's big games and there's indie games and there's nothing in between. And that's true, but this is a company that like has had some middle ground successes like Dead Island 2 and Remnant 2, both more than 1 million seller for each of those games, and those have not been anywhere close to enough to keeping this company going, and so they are going to have to figure something else out. It seems very unlikely that Embracer Group is going to be the Embracer Group as we know it, whatever that means going forward. Like in a year from now, we might not even have an Embracer Group. They might start selling stuff off that quick.
What do you think? Do you think do you think Gearbox is gonna like end up at a Sony or Microsoft? Do you think it's more likely that they do just go independent?
I think they might go independent. Because I don't know. So they paid up to $1.4 billion for Gearbox. The interesting thing is they probably didn't pay that much because a lot of that was determined by performance. It's like, hey, we'll give you more money down the road if you hit these certain metrics. They almost certainly have not had time to do that because all the games they've launched so far have been published by 2K under Take-Two. So it's like, what performance could they have done under Embracer Group? So it's probably closer to like $500 million, $600 million for them. Even that, though, like what they could sell Gearbox for today in today's market, probably not close to that. Probably something closer to $350 million if they're lucky. And so it's like, okay, if it's that amount of money, I think that the people who used to own Gearbox might be like, hey, maybe we can scrounge it together with some investors and buy ourselves back.
Okay.
But I don't think like Sony's going to want to go in there and be like, okay, I guess we'll own the company that's going to make Borderlands, but 2K is still going to keep publishing Borderlands because they're going to keep that deal. So it's just an awkward situation.
Get that Duke Nukem money.
Right, exactly. I mean, the future of video gaming is Duke Nukem. We always say that on this show. So
yeah.
I was going to ask how that would go about for them to go independent, but they would just need to raise enough funds to buy themselves out.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, okay. I mean, Randy Pitchford's got all that Hollywood money now, so he can.
What is happening with that movie? Because they filmed it a while ago.
It's in post-production hell, apparently. That's
Incredible.
The word. Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, small tidbit, like this, I can't confirm this because it's Hollywood news and I'm not good at that stuff. But someone mentioned that the scripts came in for the Horizon show, and it's if the scripts get made as they are right now, it would be the most expensive show pretty much ever produced. And
Horizon Zero Dawn is getting a show.
Yes. Yeah, it might get a show.
Okay. Is it like an HBO thing?
I don't know if it's HBO. It might be Amazon. Honestly, I can't remember. Because it's not Peacock, because that was
It'd be
Twisted
Prestige
Metal.
TV.
It would definitely be Prestige TV, yes, but it'd be very expensive. The concern now is because of the writer strike and because they probably would need to do some rewrites because it's so expensive. There's a strong chance the show might not survive the strike.
That's a shame.
That's the word right now. We'll see. Again, I'm not very good at that.
Let it happen to Horizon. I'm okay to sacrifice that. Okay.
Yeah, we don't need that. That's fine.
Throw that in front of the bullets. There you go.
I feel bad for the Horizon fans though.
Yeah,
I should pretend
both of them are going to be
really
upset.
Punch him down.
Oh, punch down. Yeah.
Punch down.
Shoot that! Dorks!
Yeah, they'll both be very upset.
I'm gonna pretend to be really into Horizon, just so I can like take the opposite line on this with you guys, but I just can't. I can't pretend to care that much about Horizon.
Very boring.
How sad is it going to be that out of the Sony or the PlayStation games to TV series, Days Gone will probably survive this, huh?
Yeah.
What? They're doing a Days Gone?
Oh wow!
I think so. Yeah.
It's actually just going to be 8 episodes of them getting married and talking about riding each other like Harleys.
Him just staring at her ass.
As everybody around gets progressively more and more uncomfortable.
I just don't understand how there's like room for that, like in a post Last of Us world. Like
there's a lot of subscription services out there.
There's a lot of zombie people.
But I just also think like it seems like spending will take a bit of a hit after hopefully a lot of these disgusting media corporations honor some of the requests of these writers and actors guilds, and it's like, all right, and then you're gonna go make a Last of Us Sons of Anarchy kind of thing. Like, I don't know.
I bet if you said that same exact pitch to like a board, they would like really get their Ghibli.
So many ears perked up.
If you said
like,
Last of Us but Sons of Anarchy.
Oh
like,
my God.
Walking Dead is nothing but trash, and yet like that series is spun off like 5 times. There's like so many.
I think
Walking
the book's
Dead shows.
good though. I think the source material is pretty good for
I like
Walking
the
Dead.
book's funny.
Yeah,
totally. But
the show's
been
garbage.
trash.
I like Andrew Lincoln.
Me too.
I like everyone in that
involved.
show.
Me too.
Yep. You know, if we're just going about what shows we like, I'm halfway through Righteous Gemstones, and holy fuck, I love everything about Righteous Gemstones.
I feel like I need to go back to that.
Episode 2. I need to go back to it.
Same. I watched 1 or 2 episodes and stopped. Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't. It's amazing. It actually felt like Disney World a little bit, but that's another story.
I love Danny McBride and John.
Well, I started listening.
Adam Devine's great.
So everyone's perfectly cast.
He has a very flexible face.
Yeah.
That's good for an actor, right? To have a
Is my
flexible
face? Grub, is my face flexible? Do you think?
Yes.
Why are you only asking?
You're very emotive. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I've seen your face in person.
Yeah,
the Jim Carrey of Giant Bomb.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Nintendo may use Hall effect sensors on its next joysticks. Nintendo has filed a patent for a magnetic joystick utilizing a smart fluid to potentially address stick drift issues. We're in the smart fluid era, everybody. I don't know what that means. I do know what Hall effect sensors are. They use a magnetic field instead of like mechanisms in there to see where the stick is. Basically eliminates drift. The Dreamcast had Hall effect sensors. This would be a new implementation, I guess, of Hall effect, so Nintendo can technically try to patent it. The important thing here is if they do use this, you likely wouldn't get stick drift anymore. Maybe it would have some fun new issue, but so far, that this would probably solve a lot of
my
those
new
other
Switch is just leaking all over the place because of the
Yeah.
smart fluid.
Yeah, now you're switch. Like that's the downside.
problems.
I mean,
my
why
fingers
can't
have
they?
mutant brains.
Don't these have like the 8-bit?
Yes.
Don't they have like a way to fix drift?
Yeah.
It depends on which model you get. If you have the one with the Switch buttons, it does have Hall effect. If you have the one with the Xbox buttons, it doesn't have Hall effect. So when you
Okay,
get
so I got the good one then. I think.
Yep. Yeah, there you go.
I have
do
to,
that.
I have to know what the smart fluid tastes like.
God forbid Nintendo doesn't invent technology and then patent it. Like fucking just.
Oh my God, that's the whole like again. Nintendo just hires lawyers in America, and that's just all they're gonna do. If they can patent it, that's what they're gonna do.
I'm gonna ask Chad if they would taste the smart fluid.
Sure,
What?
absolutely.
God.
Tastes like Miyamoto's sweat, probably.
Okay. It's the green goo from Zelda. That's what it is.
This would be cool. There's no guarantee they're going to use this on the next Switch. They patent stuff all the time. If this is like more costly, they almost certainly won't use it. Just look to the fact that the new Switch is rumored to use an LCD instead of an OLED.
That's a bummer.
Isn't that a bummer?
Then they can charge you for the OLED edition 3
and they'll
years
charge
later.
you for the Pro controllers as well. They have the Hall effect sensors. I was at a Target the other day, and they had the nice Nintendo standee, and they had the Switch and the Switch OLED right next to each other. And I'm like, man, I forget how much better the OLED is than that original
way
Switch.
better.
screen.
It's gonna hurt to go back.
Night and day.
Is it worth it to get it now?
Yeah, that's what
Eh,
I'm
you-
asking.
You maybe waited
Is it-
too long at this point.
Yeah.
Because now you're just gonna get it and like learn to like it, and then 6 months later have to buy a Switch 2 and lose it again. You're gonna be mad.
Something happened to my Switch on the plane down to Aruba. Like
Became self-aware. What happened?
it did. I don't know if it like got too hot. We were playing with that monitor and it was like power was going all over. I don't know what happened, but when I got to the room, I took out the Switch and the fan, like the little grill around the top exhaust
Yeah.
fans, just snapped off. Like it's gone now. It's just
Oh, jeez.
it's just not.
Your Switch
there
went on
anymore.
strike.
That happened to my
Yeah.
first Switch too. Yes.
So I don't know if it's like a heat issue or whatever. I mean, it still works fine. It's just a little sharp in a spot now.
Makes you bleed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
all. It can cut
Yeah.
you now.
Yeah, that makes it more yours. You've got a little
It's
bit
been
of blood
through
on
some
your
shit.
Switch.
You're right. It's seen
Exactly.
some stuff. Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 and Phantom Liberty is going to be the new crisis, at least for CPUs. CD Projekt Red is set to release Phantom Liberty expansion for Cyberpunk 2077 on September 26th, accompanied by a significant version 2.0 update. Philip Perzinski, the game's lead Steam programmer, issued a warning via Twitter about the potential strain on PC setups, especially CPU workload, that the expansion may cause. He advised players to check their PC cooling systems before the update, as the CPU workload could reach up to 90% on 8-core CPUs. That would probably cause your CPU to run very hot. Most CPUs, when they come with a fan, they are going to be mostly good enough, especially AMD. Intel, you might want to actually upgrade your cooler. Most people do this if they build their own PCs. And then if you get like a custom built from one of these pre-build companies, that also probably has better cooling. But if you're running that stock cooler on Intel, maybe take another look there. But I don't know. This is also kind of them just thumping their chest a little bit. This game does look very good, and it's always been difficult to run. But you're probably going to be fine on most systems. Like all the systems that all of us have, you're going to be fine. Like there won't be any issues here.
Is the consensus at this point, like I know there have been several big updates, is the game, do people like it now? Is it generally positive?
That's the general consensus now. Yes.
Okay.
People
So a lot of
like it a lot more than when it came out.
Exactly. Yes, and I think it still has those fundamental issues that I talked about in my review, where it's like the world is pretty stiff and stale, and there's not like it's a lot of window dressing, not a lot to interact with, and that bugged me a lot because I was expecting more. But they're trying to address that somewhat with this version 2.0 update that's going to come alongside Phantom Liberty, where like, oh, the cops might be smarter and that might make the game feel
That's
more
cool.
entertaining. So it's definitely going to be worth checking out at this point. I think it's a very strong, good game. I've never thought it was a great game, but I think it's a very good game. And it's probably going to be much better with Phantom Liberty. So
I would jump back into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should.
I've still never played it. I've been kind of waiting for no reason, but this is probably when I'll jump.
Seems
in.
like you had the right
Maybe it's
idea.
a
Seems
year.
like you won.
I'm in the
Yeah.
same boat, Mike.
There's so many other things to play this year.
Did you ever try it, Bakalar?
Yeah. I played probably like 12 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
And I thought it was fine. I think I felt the same sort of initial honeymoon disappointment that a lot of people did, but yeah, I'm more excited to do something like that than continue Starfield, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I think that's honestly, I think the way I felt about Cyberpunk at the time is how I think a lot of people feel about Starfield now, where it's
Yeah.
like, it's not quite there.
yeah.
X-Defiant has been delayed. Ubisoft has postponed the release of X-Defiant, a free-to-play Call of Duty-like, basically. It looks
Oh.
exactly like Call of Duty, due to failing certification tests on Microsoft and Sony's consoles. Originally aiming for a summer launch, the game's executive producer, Mark Rubin, who used to work on Call of Duty, indicated that an October release is now more likely as additional work is needed to meet the platform holders' requirements. The delay is attributed to the discovery of unspecified compliance bugs, not gameplay issues, which pertain to systems and overall user experience expected by platform providers. So stuff like trophy tracking and friends list, which is, I guess, a weird thing to mess up, but they're going to try to get it together. X-Defiant is one of these weird ones, guys. There is a huge following for this game of people who are like, this is the Call of Duty killer. And I guess they've had a lot of open betas and alphas and things like that where millions of people played it. But it's also one like, when I don't see those people on Twitter, I never think about this game. Is there any interest for you guys for a Ubisoft Call of Duty?
Oh, when you put it like that. Not when you put
I mean,
it
it's
like
exactly
that.
what it is.
I wish you
Bakalar,
wouldn't say that. I wish you wouldn't say it like that.
I feel like this may appeal to you the most.
Why? What are you trying to say, Jan?
You and the COD boys.
Yeah, if
I
it's
know
a
they're
free-to-play
already-
game, do you think that like helps you in your case when you like say, hey, should we try this?
I don't think. I think I have a personal bias, a stigma, if you will, about the notion of a free-to-play FPS. Right?
Yeah.
Something is the flavoring of that doesn't sit 100% with me.
Isn't Call of Duty pretty aggressive, like with its microtransactions? Anyways, like it's still telling you about like stuff in the store and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
would it be that
it's
different?
gross. Oh, would it be that different? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
Is it because
Like, is it all
Nicki
cosmetics?
Minaj
I don't think we know that about
isn't in
X-Defiant.
X-Defiant yet?
Nicki Minaj is not in there. No. What was the whole they said one was like, hey, Nicki Minaj will step on you in Call of Duty, and then I'm like, oh, I should install Call of Duty, but I think they might have just been saying that. I don't know if she actually steps on you. Probably not. This is, you know what? I'll look into this in my own time. You guys don't worry about it. This is a personal issue. Starfield has had a strong launch. Starfield had a strong physical sales debut in the UK, despite its inclusion on Game Pass. During its release week, the Xbox and PC exclusive secured the #1 spot in the UK for box game sales. While exact sales figures weren't provided, Starfield's physical launch in the UK was not the largest in 2023, trailing behind titles like Hogwarts Legacy, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Jedi Survivor, Resident Evil 4, Final Fantasy 16, and Dead Island 2. However, what sets Starfield apart is its exclusivity to platforms with a significant share of digital sales, which is PC and Xbox, which both do much bigger in terms of digital sales in the UK. But analysts suggest that if Starfield follows a similar digital sales trend as Blizzard's Diablo 4, a game which it did outsell in terms of physical sales, it'll be a very big success for Microsoft and one of the biggest sales successes of the year. The story here just continues to be that, hey, this game is available on Game Pass, and yet millions of people continue buying games that are on Game Pass, sort of just either out of habit or that's their preference or whatever, but it's not really hurting sales, and overall it's like a complementary to one another. Have you guys felt like sort of a mainstream penetration for Starfield among like people you talk to, similar to like what Hogwarts Legacy had earlier this year, or Zelda or anything like that?
Not amongst my friends that wound up picking up Hogwarts Legacy, but I think that is primarily because a lot of those folks, for whatever reason, chose to buy a PS5 to play Hogwarts Legacy versus picking up an Xbox. So
Yes.
they're screwed either way.
Right, they've already made their choice there, and so they weren't gonna like have a similar decision with Starfield. Yeah.
Jeff, you said mainstream penetration, and
Yeah, I
thought
saw
that
in
was
chat
funny.
that here Tokoto from the Giant Bomb chat just typed mainstream penetration lol.
Yeah, it's funny.
I did say, and I knew what I was saying when I said it, and I knew this would
Yeah.
happen. Just like I knew when I had my small espresso cup and I was filling it up. I'm like, people are going to talk about my small espresso cup.
Are you gonna,
I know
are you
that.
gonna,
Crazy.
you gonna hit
It's
the
cute.
panic button during your mainstream penetration?
I'm gonna. I will listen.
What else do we need to say? Entities. There we go. Fill up your bingo card, folks.
My unscientific anecdotal sample survey of my idiot COD friends, 0 of them have played Starfield.
Yeah. I think it's probably doing fine for people who were paying attention to Game Pass. Probably doing fine for Bethesda freaks who, and there's millions of those. I just don't think it's kind of reaching beyond that orbit. Not that it needs to. It's going to succeed with just that audience.
On the PAX train, we saw several Bethesda weirdos.
Yes,
Yeah.
Rocking
they
hoodies.
Yeah,
have
they
been.
are real.
They definitely are.
I
real.
just gotta I have seen a bit of like weirdness with the streaming community in playing this game too. I don't know if
What does that
there's like a campaign afoot or something. Obviously there always is, but like I don't know. I think I've felt more so for this game than maybe others. Actually, I think for oh my god, it's the worst named video game ever. I already forgot it. What was the one? The EA game?
Wild?
Immortals of
Immortals of
Avium.
Avium.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that
yeah.
too, where like there was this very clear streamer campaign for that game.
Oh,
Like
I think people are just
enthusiasm,
actually
like forced enthusiasm.
Yeah, like it just doesn't
I don't-
feel.
no. People are just
real.
playing this game because it's a big game.
It's a
and,
po- it's
you
a popular.
know.
It was a
Yes.
popular
I'm
game
not
on
saying
Twitch because
I'm not saying there are not people enjoying it. I just maybe it was too close to the recency bias of the Avium thing.
Yeah.
Starfield was gonna be huge no matter what.
Yeah,
it's a big Bethesda game. There was always a ton of anticipation among people wanting like content.
Of course,
creators.
Right.
of
Like, I don't
course,
think
of
I don't think
course.
there's any sponsored streams of Starfield. I don't think they paid for anything like that. Like they definitely. I mean, they were pretty clear about Immortals of Avium.
Yeah, those were
have to be
definitely
clear
bought
about
and
it, I
sold.
think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
But yeah.
All right. Nintendo is done with the Mario Kart game, but it's not the one from 10 years ago. Nintendo and DNA have announced that they will cease creating new content for the mobile game Mario Kart Tour 4 years after its initial launch. Following the anniversary tour starting on September 20th, all future seasons will feature content from previous tours, and no new courses, drivers, karts, or gliders will be added from after the battle tour beginning on October 4th, 2023. This development may suggest an impending release for the 6th and final wave of DLC for the Nintendo Switch title Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, as both games have often shared new course releases.
I wonder where you think there's any chance there's something coming up where they can announce that final wave
Never.
of DLC.
No way. No. And, but yeah,
Is that confirmed? Is that happening?
it's not hasn't been confirmed yet, but there's we'll talk about the Nintendo Direct.
They should have confirmed it on 9/11. The cowards.
Exactly. That's why
Should
they
have
didn't
done
talk
it
about
on
yesterday.
9/11.
Like
I'm hitting my mic.
9/11 with an announcement of the Nintendo Direct. Yeah, Nintendo. wasn't
Special
gonna do that.
9/11 Nintendo Direct.
And Nintendo also is pretty mindful of Apple, and Apple's doing their thing today, and they usually try to avoid announcing stuff at the same time as that as well. So we'll probably get an announcement tomorrow, and it'll probably happen Thursday if there is a Direct this week, which there probably is. That's the rumors, and we'll talk about that here to close.
And it's
up
gonna
the
be on
news.
my colonoscopy day. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Discord in.
Yeah, Discord.
Yeah.
in.
I'm gonna be zonked out probably.
That's the best kind of Mikey content. Let's do it.
You're gonna be. No, I won't tell you what else I might be doing.
What?
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah.
Do you think
Yeah,
there's a
you're right.
way? So I'm just fresh in my mind, just coming from the dentist, where one of the things I love about living here is they'll knock you the fuck out, general anesthesia, like just full on, put an IV in, you're on another planet for several hours. So I'm gonna have to get a bunch of shit done in my mouth, and they're gonna knock me out for it. Don't you wish there was some service where it was like not just dentists, but if you also need a colonoscopy or something with your heart, like all the doctors can be in the room, so you just get knocked out for like a day, you're knocked out, and just go to town, everyone. Like they just do all their stuff.
Just run a train on
I
Dan
can't.
Riker.
I
I
can't.
would pay
can't.
so
I
much
can't. I
extra
can't.
for that.
My friends, to the other 3 people in the room, we must not even acknowledge it. We
Dude,
must
it's
just-
like general
we must
anesthesia is
just
the
move
best.
on. We
I
must
can't wait, but
move
just get
on.
it all done at once. To have them all in
Yeah,
the
the
room.
problem is
Fucking
that the
car.
problem
You
is
would-
that
You would hurt so much afterwards.
Dr.
Yeah, you're a
Gangbang.
car because we're all cars, and that's yeah.
the doctors are very busy. Getting all of their schedules to line up like that is gonna not.
That's
work.
why you pay extra, but I would. I
That's
would.
right. Just slip
I
on
always
your
went to
board.
the general anesthesia.
Give me
I
the
hate that we're
lightning lane
explaining
for
why.
body function.
Lightning lane.
What?
It's the Disney World skip the line thing you can pay for. The lightning lane.
Yes.
You want Dr. Lightning Lane.
Lightning lane surgery. Where's it going?
I think they are. So like, I'm getting a sleep test, but I told them this when they called me before I go in, and they said, "Oh well, we can kind of like see if you have sleep apnea just while we knock you out. Like we will know while we do that. Like, oh well, that's good. Yeah, just let me know."
I've had people tell me their anesthesiologist said after a surgery or something like, go get a sleep test because when you were out, you sounded not great.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, yeah, that's another person to put in the room with me.
Yeah, but
Mike,
like, there's
Mike, I slept in the hotel
nothing
room with you.
intrusive.
I think you probably need a CPAP.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
people who
I
share
do
hotel
too.
rooms with me,
Yeah.
they're not happy.
You know what? I was fine. I'm just like, I was like, you were taking a nap during the day, and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like maybe obstructed breathing. So glad you're doing
Probably.
a sleep test. All right. Stalker 2 developer GSC Game World offices were damaged by a fire. This developer's been through a lot. The developer of Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl experienced a fire in one floor of its offices. While there were no reported injuries, the fire caused damage estimated up to $70,000. The fire occurred near the game's backup servers, although it remains unclear if any data was lost. A developer confirmed on Discord that none of the employees or office staff were harmed and expressed determination to continue working toward their goal. Basically, they said they've been through a lot worse, and they have been. This is a studio that was based in Ukraine during the war. They've moved a lot of people out of the country. They continued working on the game, but they said they're gonna try to chug right along. This game is supposed to come out next year, early next year. I
Early
believe.
next year, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of high hopes. This is a game that looked really nice when they were showing off in the early days of like the Xbox Series X and S announcements. And it had really strong graphics in terms of like, oh, that's a good looking game. Is that really going to come out? And then, of course, it took a lot of extra time. But if it gets anywhere near those early trailers, that'll be really impressive. And there's a lot of Stalker fans out there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Sony may have a complete edition of Horizon Forbidden West, a listing for a complete edition of Horizon.
Finally!
Yes, right. It has been discovered on the Singapore rating board, IMDA, where a lot of these things tend to leak. The listing is still live and describes it as Horizon Forbidden West's complete edition, which includes the original game and the Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores expansion. Why do you think they don't use Game of the Year edition? Someone had to give that game Game of the Year, right? So complete edition, I guess.
Horizon?
Do you actually have to win a
Like
game
Greg
of the year
Miller?
somewhere?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
that
Craig
seems
Miller,
like a very loose term.
Right, you could just be like, my cousin said it. You're like, man, this is my
Yeah.
Game of the Year. There you go, Game of the Year
Wasn't that
edition.
the Elden Ring year? Like, who in their right mind? It's like, I guess somebody must have, but man.
There was definitely you saw some people.
You know
out
what?
there,
Like, hey, I'm
specifically.
gonna start saying instead of God's favorite podcast, the Game of the Year edition of the Bombcast.
Yeah,
there
exactly.
you go.
I mean,
There you go.
it's meaningless.
Who called it game of the I'm gonna find somebody who called it game of the year. Don't you all
Sure,
worry.
thank you.
I'm guessing
Fort-
Greg Miller.
Oh yeah, 100%. Greg Miller. Yes. Just loves his PlayStation. Fortnite is losing its mustard. Donald Mustard, Epic Games chief creative officer and a key figure behind Fortnite's success, has announced his departure from the company. Mustard, known for his work on games like Infinity Blade and Shadow Complex, shared the news on his social media accounts. He expressed confidence in Fortnite's team's capabilities and teased that they are working on a lot of significant projects. Mustard has been, I think, working with Epic, or he's been working in the industry for 25 years, but he's been at Epic for a very long time as well. For me, this guy, I'm like, that's the Shadow Complex guy. And now that for years now, he's actually been the Fortnite guy. But in my mind, it was always Shadow Complex and Infinity Blade. He was always on the Apple stages showing off that stuff as well. But hey, yeah, happy trails to Donald Mustard. I don't know. Make a new Shadow Complex. I would play
Didn't
that.
they re-release Shadow Complex at some point?
Yeah, they
That's
did.
modern
They
consoles.
remastered it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds right.
It's
Hey,
so
develop-
good.
Yes. It's really
Horizon
good.
Forbidden West won the Game of the Year award at the Develop Brighton conference.
Oh,
Okay.
all the stars.
Oh, is it the right complex?
Brighton.
The
Brighton.
Brighton.
Oh.
We're gonna
What
get
is
a
it,
little
that
death
triangle?
triangle in it.
Oh, that one.
I want to see Pack host a Game Awards.
Still in his
you want
gear.
to see Pack?
Gear,
Or you
full
want to
gear.
see
Yeah.
me doing a Pack impression the entire time doing
In
the
Pack's
Game Awards?
gear. Yeah.
In Pack's gear. Yeah, that's gonna look great.
Last story, Nintendo Direct, maybe, kinda. There's a lot of speculation out there, and speculation has arisen specifically because of a leaker who basically said something along the lines of F-Zero.
Sure.
And we've heard all year long that F-Zero GX should be coming to Switch. That's been a rumor, and now that seems like that could happen at Direct this week.
Wait. Go back. GX, that was the...
GameCube.
GameCube.
Wait, so there's rumors that GX is coming to Switch?
Yes.
which would mean GameCube games coming to Switch.
Well,
it wouldn't be
not
like
like
GameCube
that.
NSO. It'd be like Metroid Prime Remastered, right? They
Yes.
just
Oh, okay.
remastered that
I
game.
was wondering, like, oh shit, are they going to start doing NSO GameCube games?
Nah,
Okay,
that's
you're
not
talking like remastered. Okay,
There's definitely been there's been a lot of rumors, sort of like maybe, but like whenever we hear that, it's also like they probably wouldn't do it as Nintendo Switch Online NSO games. They would probably have an initiative to do more things along the lines of Metroid Prime Remastered, and that's exactly what we're expecting for F-Zero GX if it happens. There's other rumors, including, this is from Pyoro, someone who has a pretty good track record with Nintendo leaks in the recent past. They're also leaking stuff that says, hey, there's going to be a Donkey Kong game, and who's he fighting? He's fighting Mario. So maybe like some new Mario versus Donkey Kong game.
I never loved those.
Well,
Maybe not that game.
maybe
but
not
like,
that series exactly. It could be
Okay.
a new game from the 3D Mario team where you play as Mario, but you take on Donkey Kong or something like that. That's my
Okay.
hope.
As long
I
as
think
not
that
like the March of the Minis, like the formula never really did it for me.
It's
you know?
weird because the lineage of those games is straight from Donkey Kong 94, which I
which is a classic.
love.
Kicks ass. Yes.
Yes, that's an all-time great game.
And
yes.
then like the first Mario vs. Donkey Kong was the gameplay was exactly like that, and then it slowly turned more and more into a bad Lemmings
Exactly. Bad Lemmings is perfect. Yes.
Yes,
exactly
and that's
what it is.
I
Or,
never liked those games.
or a bad Krusty's Funhouse, if you will.
Of
Oh.
course, yeah.
Well, if they ever wind up doing GameCube games on NSO, I just worry that Minotti wouldn't figure out how to close the games.
I know,
Oh
yeah,
my
and he wouldn't know how to
God.
The button,
eject
yeah.
them. Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
really rough.
just-
You know
Yeah,
what? When you
change it
take
back
the
to the
GameCube
menu,
game out
yeah.
of the
and they
case,
like saw a wave bird, he'd be like, "Oh, no one likes those."
How
And
do you
then,
take
like,
a
that's
GameCube
right.
game out of the
What are you
case? You have to
talking
rip it out of there, and it's fine. It's fine. It's not a problem.
You still put your finger on the middle nub and put some pressure on it, and if you did that
There's no
properly on the
nub.
thing, it would pop it. There's a nub.
There's no nub.
There's definitely
What? You don't think there's anything in the middle of the disc in that case? Pull out your stupid yellow labels. Okay, let's see.
Pushing this does nothing.
Yo.
Pushing this.
You don't put your
Does.
finger on that? Yes, they fold in a little
It
bit,
does
and it
not
lets you
go
put
at
the
all.
disc out. You're
it's
just
like-
tearing your fucking disc out of every console in case?
I beg you to pick up a GameCube case right now. This thing does
You
not
know
move at
he
all.
will. Don't challenge
it. Go.
him.
Yeah, what are you doing,
Go,
Mike?
go,
Records
go,
going.
go. He's gonna eat so
He
much
just
crow. This
left
thing
the
doesn't
room.
move.
Yeah, there's other things, rumors, but I think Dan might be interested in them.
I can
So,
register my
Rhythm
copy
Heaven.
of the Sonic
Hey.
Mega Collection online.
Oh, you should do it, dog. Quick question. Do you think with them teasing, like, okay, never mind.
He's
Forget
running
my
back
He
question.
into
runs
the room.
very strangely.
All right, let's see it. Let's see it.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
he's opening.
He's
the
opening
desk.
it. Yeah.
So wait, what are you doing? Are you just pulling on the edges and
Yeah,
causing
just
it to
pull
warp?
out.
No,
I
dude, you
use
put a little
the
bit of...
middle for leverage, but I don't push down
That's what I'm
on
saying.
it.
But leverage, yeah, you're putting force
You
on
said
it.
it push down. You said it doesn't move at all.
It's not a button, no, but
moving
you
the
still...
goalpost.
No, it
Moving
still
the
trains you to put
goalpost.
pressure with your finger on the middle. You put it on the panic
So-
button and you lift up the
You are
fucking disc.
changing your story a little bit, Dan.
Okay, but let's be clear. It is crazy how Mike takes his stuff out.
You
And then he takes
You're
out the
putting
button in the
put
GameCube.
force on it, and then you barely have to lift it from the outside. That's how you do it.
Right, hit the panic button. That's right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Nice, nice,
Yes.
nice.
We need to
Touch
sell a
that G
T-shirt
spot.
that says "panic button" now.
Yes,
That'd be good.
absolutely. Oh.
That's
There's
actually
no- it's called panic
Grandfather
button.
gets the
change
royalties.
the name of the site to Panic Button. Maybe.
You go.
Okay, there's a couple other rumors from the direct. Maybe okay. So I'm guessing Rhythm Heaven, but I'm guessing that because the Pyro said a DS and what was it? It was like a Wii and DS remake or something like that. It was something that was on both, and it's like, oh, okay. Rhythm Heaven was on both, but there was also like a couple other games that were like kind of obscure from Nintendo that were on both. I think Rhythm Heaven is the one that makes the most sense to
Wait,
me.
that's on DS and Game Boy Advance?
No, the DS and Wii.
Oh.
Yeah. I
Did
can't think of
Elebits have a Game Boy Advance? No, Elebits
No.
just had the Wii, right?
And not Game Boy Advance, DS and Wii.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right. Sorry, yes. DS and Wii. Elebits didn't have a DS one.
So Trace Memory is the other one, yes. That's,
Trace
Oh,
memory.
right, Trace.
and I
memory.
don't know anything about that. It's like code memory and trace memory or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be a bit surprising. Although we've gotten like Famicom Detective.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Right.
The Famicom Detective Club game. So I'm not going to count out anything. So I don't know. We'll see. And then maybe a new 99 game. So Pac-Man 99 is coming off the surface in September. Service in September. So it's like they might have a 99 game to replace that. Again, the rumors maybe are gently pointing towards an F-Zero 99.
Icarus 99.
Ah.
I think that would,
WarioWare 99.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
WarioWare
too.
99 is fucking genius, and I would pay a lot of money for that. That
Me
would
too.
rule.
Oh,
I'm editing this
yes.
out. We're gonna do this.
No, I'm very horny for that.
Yeah,
That would
let's
be
make WarioWare
fantastic.
99.
Yes.
Hey,
Um,
is there ever a world where they would smashify Mario Kart? Because I mean, they already have
Oh, yeah.
Link, but like
Yeah,
they
they started to.
I think
They
at this point,
squeeze-
a lot of people are expecting that from the next one almost at this point.
like would people be upset if they removed Diddy Kong Racers completely and F-Zero and just put all those fools in Mario Kart?
Mm.
I want a new Diddy Kong Racing.
Well, that,
What
I
is the
mean,
difference? I'm not as familiar.
Diddy Kong Racing, you can do the plane, the hovercraft, or the cart. And
It's
the music's
rare.
really good, and there's like boss fights, and it's like a hub world. It's like the whole structure is different. It's not just a Mario
Yeah.
Kart.
It's
clone.
crazy. To me, that game was like such a huge advance over Mario Kart 64, and yet it came out the same year. That's
Yeah.
such a weird
Right.
thing.
Oh.
Because Mario Kart 64 was using like pre-rendered sprites. It was using like
Yes, right, for the
SGI
characters,
stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
like Diddy Kong Racing was just straight up like 3D characters. So yeah, it was
It
better.
doesn't get enough credit. Diddy Kong Racing's awesome.
Okay.
Man, we should play some Diddy Kong Racing.
How is that not? That's not on NSO, is it?
No,
No, so I mean,
not yet.
they're kind of weird about the rare games still. I do think that'll
We got a
come, though.
couple. We don't have
Mm.
Donkey Kong 64 yet. We don't have like
for it.
Jet Force
Okay.
Gemini
No
or
Jet Force
Blast
Gemini.
Core.
Dan, we were asking this question in terms of what drink would you associate with a racing game? So like espresso would be Gran Turismo, right? Buzz balls would be Forza Horizon. What drink would you associate with Diddy Kong Racing?
Remember Orbits?
Like,
It had the little
Those
balls
come.
on them.
yeah, the ball. That was good. Like it's kind of like balls, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
the
Isn't
mid
that
to
already
early 90s?
Buzzball?
No, Buzz balls are alcoholic. Orbits are like it's like a water, but it's got little like gelatinous, like hundreds of little balls in them.
See, I think
What should
Diddy
we
Kong
shoot?
Racing
Coconut.
is. I think it's Capri Sun. I think that's Diddy Kong
Okay,
Racing.
Capri Sun's good.
Yeah, maybe like an ecto cooler, like a high C.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Like
Yeah.
It's just exactly like mine. Don't give him credit.
Mine's
no,
better.
but high C makes me think
Except
of
for one, thank you. Yeah.
it's a different vibe because it's like the box, right? And then like the
Yeah.
Capri Sun sack. I don't know.
I like the pouch.
The pouch is more beachy.
I don't like the
I
pouch.
think something about it. Yeah.
I was a big fan of the pouch.
I was a big fan as a kid after you finish the box of high C, unfolding it and squishing it flat.
Well,
yeah,
the pouch
definitely.
you can crinkle all over. It's like aluminum. You can do all
but
sorts of
what-
fun gimmicks.
What game is the carton of milk you would get at school with the cardboard like triangle you had to like fold out? Like what game is that?
Oh,
Horizon?
No, it's got to be a racing game, right? Come on. We don't have
That's
to
the
pile on
meanest
Horizon.
thing. that is the meanest thing we've ever
Mod
said about
Nation
Horizon.
Racers.
I was gonna say, what Motorstorm? The one, which is there an icy
Oh, Motorstorm was
Motorstorm?
great.
Oh yeah,
Motorstorm
there's
was
a
cool.
Motorstorm.
The box of milk.
Yes, there is. There absolutely is. How dare you?
Maybe it's chocolate milk then. I don't know.
This analogy is officially lost on me.
Hey,
I just
Bakalar,
cannot.
what do you prefer, boxes or pouches of drinks?
Box.
Probably boxes.
Well, here's the question: is boxed wine? Would you consider a box drink or a pouch drink?
It's
Well, it's
both,
both.
right?
both, 'cause you have the bladder.
duality of man. There.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
It
represents
brings
everything.
everybody together. We've always said this about boxed wine.
Oh, okay. I love Matthew Rory. Extra Life last year, I asked him, just buy me a bottle of wine. That's all I want. He comes in with a giant ass box of wine.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
most
What
Matthew
What was
Rory
his
thing.
What was his
I don't know.
reasoning? The affordability of it, or like?
Oh, this is all they had, Jan. I'm like, no, this isn't all they had.
there's no way.
That's not true.
Even
That rules.
Dan's like that's a
Not
lie.
That
Everywhere
rules.
has a bottle of wine.
Oh man, I love that.
No place
That's so
only has boxed wine.
cool.
I mean, maybe a gas station.
That would be the most psychotic place on earth. Oh my
No,
god.
Sorry, we don't have beer. We only have 40s.
I'd go to that place though.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Rory, if you're in chat, let us know. I
He
appreciate
is.
it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he's usually lurking. That does it for the news, Jan. I'm handing this shit show back over to you. There you go.
I'm gonna look at it and rock it to sleep because we need
Yeah.
to take a quick break, and we'll be back with some emails and some shout outs and I don't know, whatever else we want to talk about for a little bit. Hey, Dan, is there any game that you wanted to talk about? This isn't me setting up for anything.
I think I need to
just
wait a
me.
day or two. I think I need to wait a day or two before I can talk about that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just in general, is there
I
like
beat Armored Core. Start a new game plus on it.
Oh yeah, people were asking about New Game Plus. We were wondering like what makes that different?
Well, there's missions near the end where there's like this or that missions and different boss fights and things there. So like you could see different endings and stuff like that. And then in actual missions, I've heard that there are some where it's like, oh, you're fighting these 2 mechs instead of this one, or there's a decision mid-mission or something that didn't exist the first time through. And then I've heard New Game Plus adds even more. I barely started New Game Plus, so I haven't seen a lot of it yet. But yeah, my run through the plain first playthrough was fucking awesome. Just loved it. Yeah.
Man,
Good game.
Dan's
Yeah.
enthusiasm and Grub's enthusiasm got me to go back in.
But my enthusiasm, I said it was good
No,
back in the
your
beginning.
enthusiasm is shit. Mine is fucking hot stuff.
I actually
That
gave this game a
rules.
score.
Are you giving up on it, Grub? Or with the save stuff, you're still in?
So apparently the recent update fixed it, and so as long as I can get my save over on this PC, because I'm just not trusting the Ally anymore, even though I think it might be fine. I'm definitely going to keep playing it. I like it way too much. It's such a good game.
Grub,
Awesome.
there's some Unity news that folks are
Yeah, I was
asking
gonna
about.
touch on it. This like kind of happened a little bit after I put the news together this morning. I'm here. My wife's out of town, so it's like I kind of did that first thing this morning.
Tired of your
and this happened.
excuses. Do better.
That's right. Thank you. You got to keep me honest
Punch
over here.
down!
Okay, does this sound weird to you guys? Every time a game gets installed, a developer has to pay more money to the engine company. Does that sound weird?
What?
I don't understand what you just said.
So Unity is adding a new charge for every time a game using the Unity engine is installed.
So even
That's
if the
just-
same owner and the same license holder installs it on like a Steam
Right, is
Deck
that-
and
Okay,
okay.
Here's what we'll do. Let's just read this story and then we'll see if we can figure it out. Starting January 1st, a Unity runtime fee will be charged to any game that has passed a revenue threshold in the past year and a lifetime install count. The amount of the fee and the thresholds in question vary depending on the type of Unity subscription the developer has. For Unity Personal and Unity Plus users, the thresholds are $200,000 in revenue a year and 200,000 lifetime installs, relatively low. For Unity Pro and Unity Enterprise accounts, the thresholds are $1 million in revenue a year and 1 million lifetime installs. The fees also vary, with Unity Personal developers having to pay the most for every install above the threshold, 20 cents, while Unity and Enterprise accounts pay the least, 1 cent for every install above 2 million. The fees are reduced for developers in emerging markets, blah, blah, blah. Existing games built on Unity will also will be hit with runtime fees if they meet the threshold starting January 1st. So it's backdated. So if you have a Unity game, you're going to...
Okay.
Yeah.
Does this count for
Wait.
any style of Unity game?
It seems that way, yes.
Is this
Except for
Unity?
it doesn't apply to if it's a game. If it's a non-game Unity application, it won't count.
Is Unity hitting the panic button? And I do not mean the G spot.
I think
Thank
so.
you, Mike. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for clarifying.
Unity's in trouble. Like the sentiment around Unity from game developers before this was kind of in the pits.
Right.
This seems like I don't know the guy. But every time, every company he's run, John Riccatello, I just don't think the guy knows what he's doing. He's the CEO of Unity and has been for a while. Before that, he was EA during like the EA's worst period. Even though they tried some good games under Riccatello, so that's why I'm like hesitant. Like he tried Mirror's Edge. They did a bunch of stuff under him. A lot of stuff didn't hit.
Space.
Yes, exactly. This just feels like they are trying to squeeze money out of an ever shallowing pool, and that's not the way that that's not long-term success, right? This is make money now decision making. They do have a quote here. We chose this because each time a game is downloaded, the Unity runtime is also installed. And that's the company explaining it, why it's adding the fee. Also, we believe that an initial install-based fee allows creators to keep the ongoing financial gains from player engagement, unlike a revenue share. Unity said that its runtime code has billions of downloads per month. Additionally, Unity said it is retiring its Unity Plus subscription tier, blah, blah, blah. So, that sounds bizarre.
Okay.
And it just the kind of thing that I think is going to scare away people who are already hesitant about using Unity.
Why make a free-to-play game in Unity, right?
Right,
Like you're not
so-
getting any money in the front end.
On top of that, this is just like talking about anytime Unity's like being installed and run, right?
Yeah,
What
so
about a demo for a game?
That's a very good point, Jim. I
Or
don't know.
what about when someone pirates a game?
Well, okay, so the demo would be okay. So like if it's an early demo, right? It would be before the game meets a certain threshold. But you're right, piracy could happen after the game meets these dollar install thresholds. Yeah, this is. I mean, I would if I'm a developer and I'm like looking at my options. This just makes Unreal look more appealing. Even if like you're making a game that's not great for Unreal, developers are always pointing to that Godot as a really good alternative for Unity. I have no idea how viable that is, but Godot.
Gal?
Yeah, good Gal. Yeah.
Fucking RPG Maker.
Yes, RPG Maker. There you go. People are pointing out if Unity goes away, like Unreal has no competition, but it's already kind of. That's the situation it already kind of is. Yeah.
It feels like it wasn't that long ago. Like, man, Unity's gains seem so impressive, and everybody was Unity this, Unity that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I suppose that maybe this is an alternative, like they say, an alternative to revenue sharing. But to me, that number just seems like 20 cents per download is actually going to be pretty significant. It's going to add up fast.
Maybe people need to stop naming things Unity. Remember when Assassin's Creed named a game Unity? That didn't go well.
Yeah, it wasn't great for them. No, definitely not. I gave that game a 92. I liked it a lot.
According to Sean, what's it called? Demos will count as well. So that's
it definitely will count. Yeah, because anytime you're installing that's what they're saying. Anytime you install the Unity runtime engine. So and that's going to be anytime you install anything that runs on Unity.
Weird.
Freemium sounds like, if you make a free-to-play game, you're not getting anything at the top, but you're going to have to pay for... Oh, what the hell?
That's bad.
Yep. So, fun. That's Unity's current situation. We'll see. There's probably going to be a backlash to this from developers, and we'll see if...
Imagine that.
Go ahead, Grub.
I was just going to say, Unity probably might have been expecting that, and I think what they'll do here, we'll lower everything, and they probably already had some ideas in mind about they're trying to get away with this. We'll see if they actually do get away with it.
Sign Guy Bubsy in the chat mentions, you heard of review bombing, now we've got install bombing.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yep. Okay, emails.
Yeah, these are the emails.
These are emails
for
the show.
Yeah.
Emails. We actually received a lot of emails, so thank you for sending your emails to bombcast@giantbomb.com. We ran a little long today, so we're going to read less emails, but I appreciate all of them for coming in. First email comes from Matt from Mesa, Arizona. Good morning. I came up with a bad show idea for you. Get as many Jeffs together as you can playing Overcooked, and they always have to say, yes, Jeff, when someone needs something. Matt, Mesa, Arizona.
Wait, he doesn't even have the name? Too many Jeffs in the kitchen, right?
Oh, that's good.
Too many Jeffs, yeah. Bakalar, this isn't for them. This is for me and you. What do you think? We can get Jeff Kanata. We can get Jeff Keighley, and we can just be like, yes, Jeff.
Like, we have to say it weird.
Yeah, say it just say it with like disdain.
Yeah,
like,
he knows.
You're not a real Jeff.
He knows. Every time I see him, he knows. You could tell.
All right, we'll get to work.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Also, it's too many cooks. That's probably why I didn't say the pun, Mike.
Too many cooks.
Oh,
needs to rhyme.
Yeah,
needs to rhyme.
That's still. I watched that the other day. That's still really good.
That was really well made. Too many cooks.
Too many Jeffs in the kitchen still works personally.
I listen. I'm not against it, Mike, but it's just like that's why.
I think you're a little against it. I feel like
I was at a restaurant that really reminded me of the Bear while I was away in Aruba specifically, and everyone in that restaurant was also thinking the same thing. And when we would pass people, they'd be like, "It's just like the Bear, right? It's just like the Bear, right?"
What does that mean? Like, I guess I haven't seen the second season of the Bear. Does it like?
There's a certain energy that kitchen exudes, and this was like an exposed kitchen where they were all. I would imagine most kitchens are like that, where it's like a high profile kind of.
It's a new hotness, yeah.
It's a new hotness, man. You know, you put the kitchen in the front, the dining in the back. That's how it works now.
You go to Chef Bob's in San Diego. You go through the kitchen to go to your seat.
Yeah.
So there you go. There you go. Very, very nice. Very good. Yes,
Jeff.
Yes, Jeff. All right. Next email comes from. Who's this come from? Where is this? Ken from Queens. Good day, Bomberinos. What is the worst subtitle? Halo, Combat Evolved, Warcraft, Orcs and Humans, Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance, Dying Light 2, Stay Human, Ark, Survival Evolved, Dragon Saber, After Story of Dragon Spirit. Ken from Queens, New York.
Those are all bad. You know.
Ken from Queens, New York is a fine subtitle. Oh, wait, that's just the email.
I'd like to throw in For Whom the Bell Toils from Curse Crackers.
No, Curse Crackers is bad. For Whom the Bell Toils is fine.
But they're trying too much here. You got Curse Crackers already, For Whom the Bell, Belle, because that's the character's name, toils instead of tolls. We're trying too much here, folks. That's my vote.
Yeah. There's a Shin Megami Tensei game. I think it's the longest named game I had in my collection. It's Devil Summoner 2, Raiduo Kuzunoha versus King Abaddon.
Jesus.
What is
Bakalar really likes that one.
It's just so dumb. Like, what are we doing?
Did you guys see the Attack on Titan news where like Attack on Titan Season 4, Part 3, Part 2 is out now?
Oh, it makes sense, though.
God.
It makes sense to me.
Okay.
There was a Lord of the Rings
No, it doesn't.
RTS game that had like a really long subtitle when they made an expansion for it. I have to find that now.
I've been wondering, what do they do with the next Mortal Kombat? Is it Mortal Kombat 2?
No.
I'll have to think of something else now.
1, 2.
No,
Yeah.
I think it'll be a word.
They
I
might
was
have to
thinking
go
that they
back
did
to
two.
subtitles.
They did 2 with the number 2 because the original had the Roman numeral 2, but the original Mortal Kombat 3 was the number. So if you did Roman 3, that would be a new title. So
I think they do the next one is Mortal Kombat 2, and then they go to names after that.
I think they'll go to subtitle / like the one word. Do you consider that a subtitle? Is
Yeah,
like
Deception,
Mirage a
Armageddon.
subtitle for Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
Because people don't even write the colon
absolutely.
anymore. People don't write the colon anymore.
The
Yeah,
colon,
I do write the colon when I'm writing about it. I'm like, I don't care what the
Yeah.
style is. I'm still going to put the colon there. That's a subtitle.
Yeah, what is...
well, like
go ahead.
Horizon Zero Dawn doesn't have a colon, but like Twisted Metal Black does. So it's like some do, some don't.
Weird.
yeah, I think they're
That's
the
all
same
like
now.
style stuff from these companies, and I don't respect any of it. I'm putting a colon there.
Infamous. Yeah.
That's it. So here is this. Yeah, there's this. The expansion. This game was called The Lord of the Rings: The Battle for Middle Earth 2: The Rise of the Witch King.
Jesus.
Yeah, that sucks.
I give up on subtitles after getting really invested in the Mission: Impossible series because
Yeah.
the newest one is Mission: Impossible M- Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you had like M:I-2 for MI2.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, my
So
Yeah.
I remember. So like Jedi Knight, the video game, was Dark
Mhm.
Forces 2 Jedi Knight. So for a while, to amuse myself, whenever they made sequels, I would try to keep that going. So it was Dark Forces 4, Jedi Knight
Oh.
3, Jedi Outcast 2, Jedi Academy.
That's just awesome. That's like
They should
the
have put that in the
balls.
box.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I actually applaud that at this point. All right. Last email of the show. And once again, I'd like to thank everyone that emailed in. A lot of good emails, great emails even. But we're running short of time because we talked a lot. This one comes from Rebecca in the UK, and this may appeal to all of us, actually. Dear heebie-jeebies, browsing eBay just now. Heebie-jeebies, that's good. Browsing eBay just now, I've stumbled across a listing for a Nintendo GameCube claiming to have been signed by the band Alter Bridge.
On this day,
Okay.
Oh, that's that
GB
cool.
Robo.
Dad, I'll pay you $5 to make a cover of that song. Currently sitting at its starting bid of 99 English pennies. Quite why would someone want this is beyond me. Is the Nintendo GameCube the Alter Bridge of consoles? If
No.
not, which musician best represents what consoles?
Let's do this. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The GameCube is not the Alter Bridge. The GameCube, oh man.
I do. Okay, listen.
Wink 182?
I think
Queen?
it's Smash
Yeah,
Mouth.
I like that. I was gonna say Smash Mouth.
I think it's
Oh,
Smash,
Smash
Mouth.
Mouth.
too.
Yeah.
Have some respect for the fucking GameCube
I
here.
know. Listen, I get it.
What's
but
wrong
I
with
think it's
Smash
still
Mouth?
Smash Mouth.
What's wrong with Smash
Okay,
Mouth?
all right, hear me out here.
Bare
Hear me
naked
out.
ladies.
No. I think it might be the My Chemical Romance.
Okay.
I think the GameCube might be like the Monkeys.
No, this is too old.
I know it's old, but like it's kind of like innocent, and they're not like Led Zeppelin or something, you know. It's like or the Stones or something.
PlayStation
Like
2 is Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, okay, so let's
PlayStation
take,
2 might be the Led Zeppelin.
let's take the GameCube, the Xbox.
Super Nintendo is the Beatles. Super Nintendo is the Beatles.
No,
Genesis
NES
is the
Beatles.
Come on.
Saturn. No, Genesis is the.
If Super Nintendo's the Beatles and Genesis is Rolling Stones, yeah.
I think Dreamcast is like Beck.
Dreamcast is real big fish, and there's nothing
I
else.
like that.
Oh, I like that.
That's
Minaj.
good.
Okay,
That's
Sky,
good.
There you
yeah,
go.
sure.
Yeah.
What
is the PS2? I feel like
Led
the
Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin, we said.
Led Zeppelin was a good.
I was gonna
answer,
say
yeah.
Nas or like Jay-Z.
Oh yeah, that Jay-Z is a good one. Yeah.
Is
I
the
like that a
Xbox
lot.
360 like Daft Punk?
Ooh.
It's got to be more mainstream than that. I guess it's.
I think
pretty
it's like Green
mainstream.
Day, not just because it's green either.
Yeah, I like that too.
Skrillex.
That's like the game.com.
Unfortunately, PlayStation 3 is Imagine Dragons.
Nah, see,
Yeah.
but Imagine Dragons came out too late to be considered.
What's the
PS2.
Imagine Dragons of its time?
Sure,
I just cannot disassociate
that makes
that
sense.
song
I-
with that press
Yeah.
conference.
Radioactive or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Daft Punk is a Virtual Boy, actually.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Okay. GameCube though.
Vita.
GameCube, yeah. That's a tough one.
GameCube.
Is it
Beach Boys?
No,
I just don't like all the 60s stuff you're throwing out. Did your parents like only listen to oldies in
Yes,
the car?
we
or
don't
I
want
something?
was
talk
only
about
allowed
it,
to
yes.
listen. Yes.
His dad literally said anything after the 60s is not. It's just
No,
sound.
70,
not music.
78 was the cutoff, and they stopped making music after 78. And
Yes.
I was mocked relentlessly if I listened to
It's like,
anything
yeah,
after
that's, they're
1978.
playing instruments, but it's not music.
Hanson.
Exactly. Yeah. Technically, Rage Against the Machine is a band because they have guitars, but it's not music. Yeah.
You're right.
Yes.
GameCube's Hanson. GameCube is the bop of consoles.
I don't know if I like
No.
that.
Wow, okay.
I don't know.
Takers. No takers on that one.
It does. I feel like it should be pop punk. I'm just not sure which pop punk.
Oh, is it Simple
GameCube?
Plan?
Yeah, that's pretty. That's
What the
safe.
heck
good.
is that?
Yeah.
Or it's some 41.
effects.
It's some 41.
Some
Oh,
41's good.
okay,
Some
okay.
41 is actually pretty good.
Which of the consoles is the Outcast?
Wii U.
Oh, I got yelled at for not knowing who that was.
Yeah, just shut your mouth.
I can't believe you don't know who Outkast
I know
is.
that's so insane.
Andre 3000 is my favorite rapper.
You're not. He is not that far off in age from me, and I also grew up in the Midwest. And Outkast was fucking everywhere.
Everywhere. You could not
Even
go out to drink
before
without
Speaker Box
Yeah,
and Love Below, like
yeah.
the Miss Jackson era,
Who's
so
this?
fresh and
Mike?
clean, it was
Aliens?
fucking
Oh,
everywhere.
yes.
Hey, come on,
Mike.
guys. It's not about me here. Hey,
That is
GameCube is
weird.
GameCube's the kids' bop because it's so kiddie. It's for kids. 'cause
No.
it's
Yeah.
child's
Neo,
toy.
Neo
band.
Geo's Outcast. Neo Geo's Outcast.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Neo Geo.
All right.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot.
Okay. So
That's
are
fine.
we settling on some 41 for
Who
GameCube?
is that?
GameCube?
Who's that?
Rejected.
Oh,
Rejected.
stop it, Mike.
Okay. Okay.
No,
Come
who
on.
is that?
Pop
I'm
punk.
41.
Jesus.
You know
Yeah.
what Some 41 is? A Canadian pop punk band?
Is that like Suda 51 or whatever?
No.
Yep, exact same thing.
Crush 40?
No.
What's Sum 41's most famous song? What's,
Fat Lip.
In Too
Fat
Deep,
Lip.
probably.
Yeah.
I'm in
Too
too deep.
and I'm trying to keep
Uh,
Chibi Robo in my head.
That's not a real song. You're making this up. You can't even sing it. You don't even know.
Well, I don't know
how
any
it
lyrics.
goes.
That's lyrics blind.
Yeah, you don't
Mike,
even have
that
a
is
melody.
weird.
You don't
That
know
is
anything
weird.
about
You have
the
the
song.
melody.
We literally just did
There
it.
was
was-
nothing.
That was the song. That was the song.
That's it. That's the melody.
Avril
I will
Lavigne.
not allow them to
I was
represent
going to say Avril
GameCube.
Lavigne. I like
No.
Avril Lavigne for GameCube.
Isn't there
I
some
do.
kind of like circa 2000s band that's like all kind of
Avril
bubbly and
Biscuit.
fun?
Limp
Wasn't Avril
Bizkit.
Lavigne married to the guy in Some 41 for a while?
I think so.
GameCube's
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit. I'm done. I'm leaving
Yeah.
this show.
GameCube's Limp Bizkit. All right, somebody make a My Way video of like Sunshine or something.
Oh, Nintendo totally would have used My Way for a ad back then.
Well, that was when Mario was getting tribal tattoos and stuff. Yeah. Look it
Yeah,
up.
but they need the edit with like the interview with The Rock, Stone Cold, and JR.
Yeah.
I
Make it seem like JR is yelling about GameCube.
Yeah.
games.
I need to beat your rock.
Or
I
Taz talking about Final Fantasy X and 2.
I paused.
Someone said Offspring, but that's definitely Dreamcast because of
Yeah.
Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, Crazy
so.
Taxi.
Anytime I listen to My Way, I have to pause it midway through and do the promo to myself.
And the weird part about Deborah managing The Rock.
Yeah.
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 Is PlayStation 1 Metallica, Saturn is Megadeth?
Metal?
You just said that with such
Metal?
conviction.
Asking
PS1.
What a place you want to be like
PS1's
9 Inch Nails or something?
PS1's like Beastie Boys, I think. I don't know.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a good
I like
shout.
that. I like
That's a
that
good
a
shout.
lot.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't even
yeah.
guess what Nintendo 64 would be. I have no
Oh,
idea.
we didn't- how did we avoid
Oh,
that?
it's the Cotton Eye Joe guy.
Oingo
Yeah.
Boingo.
Eagles?
Oingo Boingo.
Oh.
Boingo's good too.
No, that's in television. In television is Oingo Boingo.
They would
For
be
Falco?
They might be giants. They might be giants. That's Nintendo 64.
It says Dire Straits. I kind of like that.
Dire Straits.
That's just the Atari 2600 is Dire
Oh,
Straits.
GameCube was Pixies. I like that, Timmy Gouda.
Oh.
Okay,
That's
Okay.
good. I
Take
could
that.
go with that. That sounds
Okay.
Go
right.
with that.
Because
I saw-
Pixies like has never ever gotten worse a single day of my life, and GameCube is the same way. Oh,
I saw someone say that the Nintendo Switch is the Taylor Swift, and they're right.
yes,
Yeah,
you're
that,
right.
that makes
Come on
sense.
now.
That makes
That-
sense.
that
the band
tracks.
Taylor
That
Swift.
tracks.
Yep.
Ooh, I like presidents of the United States for Nintendo 64 for some reason.
That's good.
MJ Spanky.
Or Crash Test Dummies.
TurboGrafx is the Spin Doctors.
Yeah.
Just saying things.
Bonk
now.
is just that one. What's that one song they have? Got it.
Pocket
Two
full of
Princes. Two
kryptonite?
Princes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
We're
the
just
Game Boy
saying
Color is the
things.
Doobie Brothers, right?
There you go.
Yeah. I really want there to be an Iron Maiden console, but I'm worried it would be something like the Jaguar or something.
Oh yeah.
Does this make
Yeah.
sense if I say this? Nintendo DS. No. The Nintendo 3DS is the Foo Fighters of consoles.
Sure.
Yeah. I
Nin-
like
kinda
that.
see that,
Nintendo
actually.
DS is the Steely Dan.
Ooh, yeah.
Just don't-
that's
I
fair.
don't-
Yes. I love
I've
that.
lost the
Hey,
thread.
I
I've
really
lost
like
the
when Jan was
thread
like,
of
"Does
all
this make sense?" As if anything we've said in
The
the
other
last
ones
15
do.
minutes has made
Like-
sense.
A couple things made sense in the beginning. It really did. And maybe because we were all like, hive-mindedly
The
doing
Switch
it.
being Taylor Swift is nothing's made more sense to
Yes,
me
that
than my
makes
entire
sense.
life.
That empirically
Dan
makes
doesn't like
sense.
it, but it makes
but
Where's
he's
the
wrong.
lie?
One
Where's
thing
the
I
lie?
don't know any. Okay. Yeah.
You know Taylor
I
Swift.
don't know any Taylor
you're
Swift
afraid
songs,
to say it.
but I
You're
realize
afraid to
she's.
say it. 'cause
Hey, what?
you
I
make
don't know
fun
any
of
of her
me for
songs,
not
but
knowing.
that's not a good excuse because I know she's immensely popular. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
worse.
shake it off.
Yeah,
Shake
it's
it
worse
off.
to
Probably
not
heard
know.
it.
Shake it off.
Oh yes.
You're not
I-
even doing a
It's-
melody,
you
Mike.
prob-
What is this? You don't
Oh
know
my
the
God.
song.
You know what, Jan? Hi, it's you. You're the problem. It's you.
I am the problem sometimes.
What band is
Punch it down.
Ouya? That I like that.
Ouya? Oh man.
Okay, go.
Okay, go.
They're like Velvet Revolver.
Oh, okay. All right. Last one, and then we'll get to the shout outs so we can end the show this week.
Aw.
Google Stadia.
That's the okay. Go.
That's like what's Garth Brooks's alter ego?
Chris Gaines.
Gaines. Chris
Yeah.
Gaines.
Yeah.
Google
okay.
Stadia is like a person who won The Voice and then never had a career.
Yeah.
You mean like
Most of
everyone
them.
who ever won one of those shows that
Yeah.
wasn't like
Just any of
Yeah.
those people.
that wasn't like Carrie
Underwood?
Underwood.
Yeah.
She didn't even win that season, though.
Oh really?
Ruben
Oh.
I thought
Stuttered.
she won.
Ruben
No,
Stuttered
maybe
won.
not. I don't
Oh,
know.
Clarkson
For a
got
while,
big,
it didn't
right?
matter if you won. You just had to like be on the show.
Yeah, the
and you
second
had a
place
shot.
person usually had a bigger career. A lot of
Right.
Well,
'cause,
she was the
that-
third place person because
Wow.
Clay Aiken.
Apparently, that is
right.
still a show.
Does Carrie Underwood, is that who does the dog my key into the
That's her.
side?
That's her.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah,
Go to
'cause
any
you're-
Kansas
Sounds
karaoke
just
bar,
like
you'll
her.
hear that 7
Right.
times a night.
Dan, I heard you
Yeah.
complaining about like those kind of songs, and I was like, yeah, the songs are lame. But then that one, every time that one comes up, I'm like, yeah, I kind of wish I was like a mad, like
Lady with
broken
power.
up girl, just so
Yeah.
that song spoke to me because I feel like it's very empowering.
Does it not currently speak to you? You never took
No.
a Louisville Slugger to both headlights?
Both headlights, to the stars.
That's right.
Maybe next time, think before
Yeah.
you
Mitch the bad
choose.
bitch. There we go. Yeah.
Bitch
Oh.
is a bad. I kind of want to have bad bitch vibes.
Dude, it's just, I support your bad bitch vibes. I just can't support your country music stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really even realize that one's country because it's one of the country songs that gets played on like the general like the mix here. We have a race.
We
it's
can
called the
never talk
mix.
about music again. I just can't handle Mike. I can't.
What? What is it?
It's amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Did you not go? Were you like homeschooled?
No.
That would
You
explain
are
so
most
much
homeschool
about
energy
you.
when you talk about music.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
it would
true.
explain like most things about Mitch if he was homeschooled.
Yeah, constantly going to Disney World, but doesn't know who Sum 41 is.
Cause
I
I
get it.
dug my keys into the side of his pretty little souped up 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, we
Karaoke
need more
night next
country
time.
songs to empower men. Where are all those?
Yeah,
at,
that's
huh?
right.
But we
That's
got
what we're missing.
Chattahoochee.
Oh yeah, God, I love that song. When I was
I
a
went
kid.
to a wrestling show where a woman came out to Chattahoochee on Saturday, and it was amazing.
That's
Any-
All right, look, I
Free-range
would've-
Kara comes out to Chattahoochee. She's from the smallest town in Minnesota.
Hey,
Great.
next PAX, do you think we can all come out to music? Like,
Can I
should.
come out to the song about smashing up my ex-boyfriend's
you
car?
have to.
Please.
yeah, because we need bad bitch vibes. All
I have
right.
a Louisville Slugger. I'll bring one out.
Okay. You know,
Oh, no, it's got the racist.
Congratulations, Mike.
It's got the racist Indian on it because it's old.
this bad bitch is woke.
Mitch,
though.
That is bad bitch vibes right there. Nice.
Mitch came in too late for the like Paxmania, Pax Wrestling heyday.
Yeah, we
where
we
all
really missed an
come out to
opportunity
music
there.
and have gimmicks. Yeah.
Right.
I just want that for like
Dukes and his
a
country music.
regular decular panel.
Yeah, we can still do that.
We could do it.
All right. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
I want to come out to Gucci by Creation.
Uh-huh.
Free V Nasty.
Sure.
All right, we've gotten to the shout outs finally, so we can end the
Oh,
show.
right, we got to do that still.
I've limited to 25 this week, and then of course
for you.
someone just has it out for me. All right.
No, but you're doing the right thing, cutting and pasting here.
If you look at number 20.
Oh, Jesus, what happened?
All right.
There's got to be a word limit to these.
Shouts out all the Disney talk. Check out the 90s Disney podcast.
Email.
How
you.
is this entire episode not dedicated to talking about how Minotti was literally an altar boy in the Church of Disney? It's the most obvious backstory of anyone at GB.
Oh my God,
It could
that's
only be
right.
topped if we found out Dan was conceived on the bathroom floor of a stadium
blacked
Taco
it
Bell
out.
during WrestleMania.
Nope. Kansas Karaoke Bar is the real story.
Jenna
Cause
Stever.
I took my kid to the sun. This pretty little suit up four-wheel drive. Carved my name into the
dying.
Mitch, keep that going throughout the rest. Jan, just read the rest while he keeps singing. Look up the lyrics. Look
Just
at the
sing
lyrics.
it softly.
Do it softer.
Softer.
Okay, I think I blew my
As
voice
if
out.
Mike Minotti could be softer. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it.
Jenna Stever, the PAX panel was hella fun. Ayo, fuck the AMPTP. Hey, this is Dr. Ryan currently reporting from the inside of Epcot saying that Beverly Drunk wasn't too bad. Pretty refreshing, actually. Don't understand why everyone dogs on it. CM Punk is fired by Nia Jax is back, baby. Brought to you by Jan looking up Unmatched and suddenly becoming a board game perv. I'm so sorry, Jan. Oh, why'd you do this to me? Anti-shout-out. Nintendo weird authentication system ruining PAX Taki moments. Jan, you look amazing. Pharrell. I'd happily listen to Disney talk. Wrestling talk makes me want to drink magnetic controller fluid.
Nice.
Shouts out to whoever the person was at PAX voicemail dump truck who did smell amazing. A baby's handful of quick bricky breaks. A male panic button is a prostate. It's located inside the rectum. Rectum damn near ran a medical train on him. Power Bombcast, please. Don't worry, we will. Ben Stark casting Drinkaga at PAX. Stephen Hawking robot voice. John Madden, AEIOU, holler, holler, get dollar. Dear God in heaven, what is this next post? It's a bit from Grub Game Mess Discord. This is funny, but it ain't gonna fly. Shout out to the Game Mess. After Super Metroid discussion, what would you like to see in the best 2D Metroid? Would you like to see it from the perspective of enemies? Perhaps were you just trying to your best life always ends up at a 6'3" goddess in a blue suit step on you and kills you because you're pathetic? Personally, I'd be up for this. Would you because it reminded me of my last ex. She was also pretty big Metroid fan, but also Metroid Prime 3 was the best one, which just never made sense to me personally because it suffered from too much talking again. It honestly didn't much like a Metroidvania to me. That and just the general lack of originality coming from being the third Prime game in a short time. I know Prime 2 gets hate, but as well, but at least the dual world has some originality to it. Even this is too long. This is too long. I'm cutting this short.
Cut it. That beef hammer, you're going to pay for that.
21 Spam Masubi. Chad should read that Metroid post so he can officially be better than Mitch. Oh, I want to be better than Mitch, though. New Game Plus Abide in Rubicon. Shouts out to recorded digital proof that GB crew are good dads. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yes, Daddy.
Shouts out to Buttholes. Keep yours healthy by eating your greens. That's been the shout outs. We're going to have to institute rules. We can't.
We need rules, Jan.
We need rules. You hooligans always doing it. But try. Anyway, what do we got going on for the rest of this week, folks? Game Mess for the rest of the week. Voicemail dump truck. Blake Club tomorrow, gents?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got off easy last week thanks to Mitch going to baseball or something, but I'll be donning the suit again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And hey, we made 40% progress last week.
40%.
Getting there.
We did
Guys,
in one
have you
episode.
picked my game yet? I need to know. I gotta.
Oh fuck, Rob, we really got to
Yeah,
powwow.
we got to have a let's powwow.
Yeah,
powwow
We'll figure it
it.
out this week. We'll figure it out this week for sure.
I am going to be on the MinMax Trivia Tower next Tuesday, September 19th, 6 p.m. Central, by the way. So look forward to that, please.
Good luck. His community is insane.
All right,
Yes.
can't wait.
Yeah, have fun with that. I have some Assassin's Creed Mirage footage that we're going to talk over at some point. I got some Forza Motorsport footage we'll talk over. We'll get
The
that
first
stuff on
episode of
the site.
Columbros is out.
First episode of Columbros is out. Yes, me and
Columbo
Mike's
podcast.
Columbo podcast. That's a good thing. You should listen to that. What else has happened on Giant Bomb this week? Game
Mortal
Mornings for the rest
Kombat
of the
1
week.
is coming out soon, and
UPF.
a lot of us, I'm playing it.
Well,
a lot
just
of us
you.
are. Oh, okay. Well, a lot of us are going to be playing it and talking about it. So just keep an eye out. We don't know how much or what form exactly, but Mortal Kombat chat incoming soon for sure.
Yep, it'll be good stuff. Yeah, look out for definitely something like that on Friday.
Yes. Voicemail dump truck as per usual. Maybe a couple quick looks. The Nintendo video and the train travelogue should drop this week. No promises. But I'm glad that I got the Mike screaming. Mike, what was it?
Super Bell Hill, let's go!
So
I
magnificent.
saw that clip. Had no idea what the hell was going on.
So magnificent.
There was a picture of Super Bell Hill, and then Victor Lucas is like, "It's not even on my teleprompter yet. What the hell?"
So he did it. Or the bit, he's like, I'm going to show you clips from these 3 different Mario games. We're going to play the song from them. Scream them out if you know it. So first it was like Bomb Battlefield. Everybody screamed.
Sure.
Then it was Delfino
Delfino
Plaza. Everyone
Plaza.
screamed. He's like, okay, this next one's a hard one. And he shows it. It's dead silence. And then I just scream the top of my lungs, Super Bell Hill, let's go. And it
And then
felt
everyone
so
stares
good
at
to
us.
come
It
out.
was great.
Jesus.
And if the Nintendo Direct happens, we'll talk over it, of course.
That's right. We'll have
Definitely.
something for that.
Unless
Yep.
we are getting a camera shoved up our asses, then we might be predisposed.
All of it. We all have to do your colonoscopy
Well, you're going to
now?
do it in solidarity with me, right?
Yeah,
At home.
colonoscopy.
I'm
Knock
too
me out.
young.
I'm good for everything. Yeah.
I'm too young. All right, folks, that has been the Giant Bombcast.
They're going to get more than a quick look.
Take your time. If I'm knocked out, I don't give a fuck.
No, Dan, you give a fuck. It's not.
I've been Jan, he's been Jeff, he's also been Jeff, he's been Mike, he's been Dan. You have been beautiful, except for whoever wrote number 20 on the shout-out lists.
Yeah.
Beef
monster.
hammer.
Beef hammer.
Well, Beef Hammer.
We'll make sure he gets cheddared good.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Giant Bombcast.